Hello, Legionnaires, and welcome to episode 239 of RPG Digest. I am John Max Leoshlow, your favorite curmudgeon, critic, and judge. Along with me, as usual, is the Legionist, brand new Heroes Unlimited super soldier, Brett Heathen Dog Grissomer. What is good today, sir?
Flame on. I mean, what? No, wrong one. Damn it.
I mean, maybe you'll get to do that.
No, the super soldier option, you're pretty much just Captain America. Just a different flavor.
What we're talking about real quickly is we're talking about an article in the Rifter that I'm going to cover today that kind of expands on the super soldier concept from Heroes Unlimited and makes it more than just, apparently makes it more than just some random experiment that could have been done 300 different ways. At least that's the selling point. We'll see if that's true or not.
Okay, and in my segment, I'm going to be talking about what I believe to be the best character class in the main book.
Oh, yeah.
Cleric.
Well, when you say best, what do you mean by best?
I mean best. I mean fighting, you're good. Spellcasting, you're good. And if you're a specialist,
so mechanically speaking.
Yeah, mechanically speaking,
it
is a great class.
Yes,
and I understand at high levels that why they had to nerf it, and I'm going to go over that, the whole nerfing of the priest. But
I don't know if it's really a nerf. They just go slower.
Well, no.
Unless you found something else.
At higher levels, you have to have a 17 or 18 wisdom, or you're not casting spells.
Really?
I'm going to get over it. I'm going to go over it. It's going to be gone. It's going to be over.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's going to be fun times. There's a lot of stuff that we just ignored because it was dumb, but it actually exists.
Okay. Well, fair. I mean, if to be fair, if it puts it in the same realm as the wizard, I would house rule it out anyway. It's like somebody made a comment on one of our earlier second edition videos. Made it last night or this morning. I saw it this morning, where he's talking about, hey, I want to give my players 118 and then roll 46 for.
Oh yeah, I saw that this morning too. I was gonna reply to it saying no. That is awful. Never do that. You're giving your players an 18, and an 18 should be like a hole in one. It should feel like oh my god, I got to buy a lottery ticket today.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 1.6% or something like. I forget the percentage number.
I expect at least 118, and then he was like, oh, and nothing under an 8. I'm like, dude, what? Just play a superhero game. That's what you're doing.
Did you see my response?
No.
Oh, my response is effectively like, not my style, but if you're going to do that, fine. You got niche protection going on there. Okay. Just make sure that, you tailor either your planned or your random encounters to to facilitate that. But it's just not my style. My style is like, I know there's some pushback, even in our general community. Is that the word I want to use? There's kind of a pushback against this idea of like, oh, the gritty. I disagree with that. I think if adventuring was easy, everybody would do it. You should be okay with losing some low level characters. I'm not saying that dungeon masters should be like, I can't wait to kill these guys. No, that's a bad dungeon master. I'm talking that in D&D, at least if you're playing D&D, yeah, a house cat can kill a mage. That's stupid. Don't do that. But the concept is there because players should be thinking more. What I have learned are the people who say that they don't like the gritty or the visceral or the high mortality games usually are the ones that want to go from encounter to encounter to encounter like it's a computer game. If that's the way you want to play it, that's fine. Me, if you go from encounter to encounter to encounter and somehow you're still alive, that means you ran away, you snuck through this one, you got stuck at this one that you had to fight, something like that.
Yeah. But we have some chats we're going to get to, especially Polyrobotics. $50. Yeah. Thank you very much. Activated something on that one.
I'm going to start having rules like it has to be during the stream.
Too bad. No, you're not ruling out money. What are you, stupid? Today we learn why John Schlow's TTRPG is not going to be sold to WotC. I mean, besides being less than toilet paper, the social commentary, or even the selling of his soul to a corporate overlord that dislikes all things TTRPG, besides those three things. We're going to find out.
I'm out. And it filled it up. Really not supposed to fill them all the way up like that, but whatever.
And CPK for $10. Thank you very much. Bring on the death priests. Yes, I am going to talk about specialty priests as well. As a matter of fact, I may even go get my Legends and Lore book to give examples of specialty priests, because each god written up there, it has specialty priests that pray to, him or her and get specific abilities for it. So we're going to go over that too. And Walter MC, it's his birthday today.
Oh, well, I'll drink to your birthday as well.
There you go.
I'll drink in a second. I'll talk about my game first, then I'll drink. What's that?
Blow out the alcohol.
I'll drink after.
No, you have to set it on fire and then blow it out and then drink it.
This isn't flammable. This is all sugar, man. It's Southern Comfort. Well, the 80 proof Southern Comfort.
It'll turn to honey.
It'll turn to corn syrup. Okay, let me talk about my game, because it actually kind of involves a little bit of today's. Might complain. Some of you, especially Palladium guys that love your Rifters, might complain about my coverage today. It's a little half-ass. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be a little half-ass today. I did go through the book, but I didn't read it with as much purpose or intensity as I normally do to get really good notes. One, this Rifter sucks.
Okay, but first, you don't even need to actually open it up to think that this could be bad.
Look at the cover.
Look at the cover. Yeah, go ahead and throw the cover up.
Share screen.
No, it's right here. Just do this. Look at that cover. Look at that.
I was going to put it up that way. So
that's ridiculous. That's a middle schooler who has some talent but no training or style.
He's got a reason for it. He writes a little blurb as to what the cover's about or whatever, but I don't know.
Okay, well, it's about crappy is what it is.
The other thing is like there are two really good sections in this book, and I'm going to cover one of them. Well, I'm covering the Q&A. Luckily, it's short today, and it's all about children in the Palladium universe. So Heathen Dog knows what I already think about that.
Are they on bikes?
What's that? Are they on bikes? They could be. Rifts are on hover bikes. And then there's a really, really long one. This is actually the best one in the book. But it is so long and all the information is meaningful, it would have been at least an hour segment, if not longer. And that's on armies and implementing armies in the game. Didn't quite go into domain play, but there's a little bit of that. But it was more about how to handle army skirmishes. If there's any reason to get the Rifter number 22, yeah, it is 22. 22, it is for those skirmishes. The things I'm going to cover instead is a super soldier because it was pretty easy to get through. And so I say that because the reason is I've spent the last week, I didn't do yard work yesterday. I was typing all day yesterday. This has been the best week of writing I think I've ever had. Not the most pages, not even close to the most pages. But I can promise you this, if I have another week like that, I will be ready for very combat playtesting. I still got to spend a lot of time on the travel section and so forth. It's all the little shit. For example, like, all right, combat's done. What happens when I suffer a wound? What do you mean? Isn't it? Oh, crap. Okay, hold on. It's like, can we have more than one sword? Fine. Okay. Yesterday, my big thing was I got done. I was like, yes, I have 2 things left to do. I have 3 things. I have 4 things left to do. Like I completely forgot to do bows. Ranged combat.
Bows don't exist. In this world, the bow technology was thrown away in its infancy.
Well, the 2 most recent life paths that I've completed are the Ranger and the Bowman.
Well, can't have those classes without bows.
Right. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there are 5 life paths ready to go. The one that I think is the most solid is the Duelist. I think the Reaver's there. The other 3 need a little bit of other eyeballs on it. I think they're good. ChatGPT thinks they're good. Grok thinks they're good. Venice thinks that they're good. So, but they all make mistakes. The guys that a couple guys that I work with, one which is on leave right now, are actually doing some playtesting. They do programming, and while they're waiting for their code to compile, they go to my game and they start making characters or playing around with the combat and so forth. They're really liking it. So they're helping me solidify some stuff. So that's been really helpful. But yeah, a lot of good writing. I'm jinxing myself by saying this, but if I can put the same effort in this week, next Saturday, I'll probably open up the Discord to people to actually start giving it a very proof of concept-y type look.
Make sure you have them sign an NDA because everyone in our Discord is a thief.
Yeah, unfortunately, I looked into that. Here's the issue with that. It's really hard to go after people who do that shit anyway. The only way you can really do that is by limiting it to like one writer, one, you can do it. It's just, it's difficult to go after people like that, more so than people give it credit for. That's why pirating is so easy to do. What was it? No, what I'm going to be more anal about is whatever the playtest topic is, that's what you test. If you start throwing other crap in there, I'll kick you out of the playtest. I hate that. Maybe it's the military in me where it's like when we go through stuff and be like, okay, we're going to test, let's just be generic. We're going to test magic. And then you start saying, I think that the humans should have a 14 strength, not an 18 strength. Dude, we're not playtesting that. Yeah, but I think it's really important. Okay, you're out. I don't have time for this crap. I need to focus on what we're playtesting. That's basically the only thing that I'm going to be really, really like, don't fuck with me on that one. Anything else, just because you disagree with something with another person who's another tester, just because you disagree with me isn't a problem, because I need to take that all into consideration for the purpose of selling the game. As long as you understand that I'm making it for me, the bonus is you. That's another reason why I've been able to do the typing. NDA is better than nothing. Yeah, but I've talked to some people about, have they done NDAs? Have they not done NDAs? And most of the people don't at this point, unless they're working for a company or it is a company like Palladium, like Chaosium, and so forth. But I can look into that more. Game rules aren't subject to copyright. Their presentation is, and certain terms are. For example, now, I'm going to say this publicly right now. I've talked behind the scenes about this. I will never argue with him on this because he's somebody I consider a friend, and I don't want to burn bridges. However, about 95% of all the stuff that Kevin has copywritten for Palladium, he would never win in court. So, like there are some things that I think he could win on. O.C.C. Okay. That presentation like that, yep. But OCC, no. E-clip is one I'd love to fight him on, but I don't care enough. like, there's no way. That is too common of a thing. Now, something that's decidedly his, like, we had that conversation about giga damage. The term giga damage, he cannot copyright. But the term giga -damage, as it's presented in his game, he absolutely can. So, and I know some of this by having my own trademarks, by having my own copy. I know what I can do and what I can't do. What the lawyers kick back and say, "Nice try. We're not gonna accept that," kind of stuff. So, but like I said, I'm never gonna try to burn bridges with him. But let's use Dungeons and Dragons. You can't use a beholder. That's copyright. And you can't use a mind flayer in Illithid. That's copyright, trademark, whatever. I can't remember if it's copyright or trademark. But you can use tentacle-looking predator face monster with psychic abilities. You can use big eyeball thing with 10 stalks coming out of it that you just don't call a beholder. Call eyeball creep. Yep. And they can be as mad as they want. So, but yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing a lot with my game, because I'm basically, plagiarizing. No, I'm not.
You're basically asking for a lawsuit. Come on.
Yeah,
Come on. I dare you.
The core is the step system from Earthdawn plus a lot of Earthdawn's concepts. But that's why I'm changing them. I was talking with Heathen Dog how I've changed like the Swordmaster and its talents, as Earthdawn calls them, into something else. Everything that is even close to a copy is being rewritten by me, rewritten again by ChatGPT, and then added on by me in terms of, and that's the process I use. I rewrite it in my own words. I put it to ChatGPT, say make it clear, concise, consistent, and accurate. I then say, okay, it missed this, plug those back in. So there's going to be none of that. I've changed the name of everything. I've added abilities, subtracted abilities, even 2 abilities. Like, you get the idea. So,
Call it the hentai monster. Yeah, all female characters have to make a saving throw or be stunned for 1 turn.
Lawsuits inbound and then they outbound because you alter things. Yeah. Well, and like I said, it's not my intent. Anybody who's played Earth Dawn, anybody who's been on this channel knows that I love Earth Dawn. Okay. But I'm not trying to copy Earth Dawn, and I'm not trying to make a better Earth Dawn. I'm trying to use the Earth Dawn system because I love it so much. I had a couple of people argue about, and I had a poll up recently, like, it's the most horrible system ever. I love it. Yeah, absolutely that's a system I love. But I want to do it in my vision. So I say Earth Dawn, but really I'm taking the step system and the idea that magic items grow with you. I guess you'd say that the life paths are disciplines. But that kind of framework that you live in this magical frame of thought. But the background, you Palladium people are going to probably say I stole it from Rifts, even though I haven't opened up a single Rifts book to come to it. But it's cataclysmic, it's world altering. There are no ley lines, but they're aether pools. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was never intended to be Rifts, but I was talking with somebody about, I was like, oh, you're a Palladium guy. You're doing, you're just copying Rifts. I'm like, oh. I didn't even think about Rifts when I was doing this. So,
but Rifts thought about you.
But Rifts apparently thought about me. The Palladium aspect that I'm using are skills. There's the skill set. When you see the skill list, you can be like, oh, okay, yeah, you pulled a lot from Palladium on that one, because Palladium has 92 billion skills. Now, I'm not copying the language. I'm copying the idea, like, oh yeah, I need that skill, Megan. Oh yeah, somebody might want
skill. Radar reading skill, stuff like that. And Earth Dawn version best max. Okay, let's rearrange that. Add some words. What is the best version of Earth Dawn, Max?
All right, I say this. And I can't give you.
We've all said it before. I could say it. A mixture of 1st and 2nd edition.
Okay, that is the. I have 2 answers. One's similar to what Heathen Dog said. 1st edition rules with the 1st edition with 2nd edition skills.
Yep.
That's specific. Or 4th edition with 1st edition combat. Now, people complain about that. Well, if you complain about that, then you're not going to like my game, because that's how it's set up.
Yeah, they really, really changed combat in the 4th edition. And it feels nothing like what Earth Dawn used to feel like.
Yeah, the success. So what they changed from first edition has a table, and you compare your target number is 10. So like a fumble is this. It's not called fumble there, but poor success, success, good, excellent, extraordinary. Excellent being where all the cool stuff happens. I barely understand why good exists. I know there's some reasons, but so like for an attack, a target number of 10 for your attack roll, on a 19, you get an armor defeating hit.
Which is big, especially when you get past 3rd or 4th circle, when everyone and all the creatures have armor. And you get an armor defeating hit, you are doing some damage. You are probably going to get a wound in there, because you do enough damage that if you defeat armor, it goes straight in their skull, and then they get a really bad TBI.
Right. In 4th edition, everything follows. I get the consistency of it, but it follows. If you roll 5 higher than the target number, then you add 2 steps to damage. But there's just something, and I saw this at my table when I ran 4th edition. There was something about that just missing that armor defeating hit, and then the confusion with the dice. So what I do is I combine the 2 for things that need better granularity, or that it just doesn't matter. I use the nice and simple. If you roll 5 higher, it's an extra success. Things like investigative skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
For combat, for attack rolls, as I call them, you go back to the chart. Essentially, if armor can reduce the effect, whatever that effect is, you use the attack table. If there is nothing to reduce the effect, then you use the I'm trying not to use my terms because it would confuse me, but the challenge roll system. So And if you're like, well, that's too confusing, well, then don't play. It works for me, and
Well,
it's worked for the guys that are
see
testing.
that's the thing though. The fourth edition is more confusing because halfway through your turn, you have to recalculate
Boom.
your steps for damage,
Not
which
even
means
halfway
you have
through.
to change your dice out completely
Right.
mid-round.
Yep.
No, in first, second, and third edition, I believe third edition as well.
Right. This third, yeah.
You knew exactly what dice you were going to be rolling if you hit before you hit,
Yes.
and no matter how well you hit, it didn't change your dice.
So you could get good. So it's weird because Heathen Dog and I talk about this a lot. Probably me more so. Is that dice don't slow down games to me because it is a game, and I hate this idea like, oh, it slows down the pacing. Shut up. We're not writing a movie here. Okay. With that said, the confusion factor of it. Okay, hold on. I rolled 11 better than I needed to. So is that 4d6? No, it's plus 4 steps. So what are you rolling now? Oh, step 11. Okay, so you're rolling step 15. What is that? And I'm not trying to say people are stupid, but
It's just that
when
in
you
the moment you want it to go fast, and it's
boom,
going to go slow.
right.
It's
And about 50% of the time they rolled the wrong dice.
yeah. I mean, it's just an unnecessary complication
But it works
to
everywhere else. That's the sad thing, which is why I'm using it everywhere else myself.
yeah.
Okay. Hold on. What else? So yeah, the best week ever. Less prepared today. Didn't exercise or do yard work yesterday. I think I mentioned that. What I need to finish are health and conditions, a couple of combat tweaks, and then it should be ready to go. Barring something else I'm not thinking about, then the character creation and combat sections will be put up. No, it's not going to include travel. I'll try to get a couple of monsters done for people. Else, I don't care. Just make up some random monster and slice it like it's a pinata. I don't give a damn. But you can at least see how the system works, or just fight each other. Make a Reaver and a Ranger and see who wins. And then Discord, I will have that. I will make that public for people who want to join the playtest. By the way, if you join the playtest, I expect you to actually playtest, not just hang out and see what's going on. Like that Discord is for the playtesters. But the first two I'm going to invite are the two people who have been actually helping me do this right now, and so they get once they jump in. And other things to talk about are I already talked to Heathen Dog about that. Oh, just to piggyback on this. So I don't know what my topic's going to be next week, depending on how much writing I do. I know I'm supposed to cover the Rifts Primer, or wait, was it the Adventure Guide? The darker book. Whichever the darker book was. I think maybe it was the Adventure Guide. Either way, I'm supposed to cover both of them. And they, those books are freaking awesome. What should have been in the Game Master Guide. When you guys said, hey, those are really the Game Master Guide, even Kevin said, those are really the Game Master Guide?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they are. It's really good stuff. But because of that, it's like everything is useful and it's hard to parse out just a little bit. I can't just gloss over and say, oh, I'll cover a little of this, cover a little of that. I have to spend time on that. And so if you see a Rifter next week, you know why. If you see either that or say the Thief's Handbook, then you know that I had a little more time. And finally, yeah, oh no, there's two more things on here. When's our members only live stream? That's this week, this Friday.
It is,
I almost forgot again.
Friday, 25th.
I forgot last month and nobody cared, so we'll see if I forget this month. So hopefully this Friday there's the members only live stream, as long as I don't forget. But this is the time of year where a lot of YouTube creators get depressed. I mean that. They cancel their channels. They complain about everything under the sun. These summer doldrums. And we're suffering it just like everybody else. Viewership is down. Super chats are down. Watch time is down. Like across the board. It's just a typical YouTube thing. Doesn't mean literally every single channel suffers that, but most channels this time of year, because you guys are doing summer vacation time. You're out doing your vacations and so forth. So
yeah, you're out going to Niagara Falls or Grand Canyon or Wally World or whatever.
Right. But that also gives people time to think about how to maybe reconfigure their process. And this is normally the time of year when I start saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do differently. This is what I'm going to do differently. I've been writing a game, so I haven't been doing that. Just note that what I want to say to you guys about that is if you do see that from some creators, ourselves included, like, Oh man, we're not getting any views on these videos, so forth. Help them out. It's views. Leave a comment, do something. I said, it doesn't just have to be us. The little polls that I put out every day have been really helpful for us. But yeah, it's just that time of year. Or if it's another creator, especially if it's a smaller creator that's got maybe 50, 100, 200 subscribers, and he's only getting like 6 views per video. Now he's getting 1 or 2. Tough it out, man. Just get through this phase. You know, starting September, things will pick back up again, hopefully. But practice your craft. Practice making better content. Don't worry, we'll just keep making the same crap.
Oh yeah.
We're not
That's
changing.
not going to change.
And then lastly,
you expect steak, you're getting a bologna sandwich. Shut up.
Right. Well, I mean, you cut it really thin. It's bologna, right?
There you go. I don't think that's true though.
Sorry, I'm sticking to it. Okay. Interesting take, and I don't like to talk about what Kevin and Sean and Jeremy say behind the scenes because those are private conversations. But a really interesting take that I would be careful how I talk about this with Kevin and the Techno Wizard. So we asked Kevin. Remember, you guys were split. Comments were split. Arguments were split. We're split down the middle about was that write-up from the Rifter 21 right when it talked about magic as belief? And we're not going to dive into that. Or should Techno Wizards just do whatever the heck they want? And here's the funny thing about that. On one hand, Kevin basically said that was BS. Just in simple terms. It's not how he worded it, but basically said, on the other hand, he was more hardcore about it. It's like, he never thought of it as like believing that a TV can fly.
It's like don't be stupid. TVs can't fly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was.
If you want to enchant something to fly, it has to look like it can fly, or else you're a retard. Yeah. He didn't say it, but that's what he meant.
He heavily implied it.
Yeah.
He was like he was, I don't want to say he's confused because that sounds like he didn't understand what was going on, but he was confused over like the arguments and so forth. Like, as in, what? No, if it's, you're not going to turn a gun, or no, he likes the spray can portal thing. You're not going to turn spray paint into a portal. Like, because he said that one before. You're not going to turn a TV into flying. Just because you can throw magic and crystals into it, it's got to represent what it's going to do. So on one hand, that Techno Wizard article was awesome. On the other hand, where he got into the whole belief thing, Kevin's like, I don't, what? No, I don't.
Yeah, went too far in the weeds on that belief thing. Yeah. But in the Rift's Ultimate book, it references that Rifter as the source of the new rules.
I don't want to talk about what Kevin said about that.
But it does not lean as heavily in that belief thing.
Right. Didn't they say it when Kevin and Sean were on? There's English for you. The fact that, Kevin's thoughts on the Techno Wizard are this. And I might open a can of worms. Don't worry, this won't go to video. This will only be for members after the live stream. He wants to remove it and basically make it an NPC.
Make it an optional class. Yeah.
No, NPC, like the Alchemist. That was his words. He said, make it an NPC like the Alchemist.
Or the old Witch.
Mostly because nobody gets it. Like, you might not want to do that. You're going to get a lot of pushback on that one. So, yeah, anywho. That's it. Like, but it was a good conversation. The reason I tell you this, though, is because a lot of times when these rifters come up, especially when you guys, it's not just me and Heathen Dog. Sometimes we both agree and you guys all disagree. Sometimes we both disagree, with each other, whatever. It isn't just about us. It's about the idea that, what does the developer think of this? I saw Wile E. Coyote do. You know what? That's fair, Doc Flamingo.
Actually, no, you didn't see Wile E. Coyote do it. What you saw was Wile E. Coyote paint the picture of a hole, and then the Roadrunner successfully uses the hole, and then Wile E. Coyote tries to do it and then smashes his face against the brick wall.
Right. How does the Roadrunner... See, this is how we know
that the Roadrunner had enough PPE or ISP, and Wile E. Coyote did not.
No, he's just a Nafandi. Or Marauder. Which one is it? Marauder. Just a Marauder.
The insane one.
He can use vulgar magic and not have anything happen to him. In fact, it happens to Wiley. Yeah. And that was good to find out. Jeremy really likes Mage 2nd Edition, so we'll have to we'll have to talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is a lot of stuff there. I did want to give an update on my game because one is a $50 super chat now to both. Oh my god,
Polyrobotics and
I know
Walter.
Polyrobotics for the super chat. The birthday,
Walter MC.
Walter, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Walter. I'm not going to sing it, not even for $50.
Nope.
And Polyrobotics, thank you for the super chat. And I'm glad Alabama isn't a dry state. All right, at least not this area.
There you go.
And did we get CPK's super chat? We did, didn't we?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, are you ready for me to thank some people and you get started on the cleric?
I am ready.
Okay, well, let me thank some folks first. And that's all of you weirdos out there. So first and foremost, I am extremely grateful you are here, and I sincerely thankful to you for spending your time with us today on RPG Digest. By the way, my throat is burning right now from that. I did not hit my throat correctly, so I'm trying to say this while... All right. Special shout out to our new viewers. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Share it with your friends and come back to join us again. Please consider supporting Legion of Myth or our charity, the Wounded Warrior Project, through the links in the live stream's description. Rumble rants and super chats of less than $20 read at the end of each segment. $20 or more, I'll interrupt the segment because I'm a jerk. So read your rant or super chat as immediately as I can, but I won't derail the conversation. $50 or more, I'll take a drink in your name, and you can force us to answer any tabletop RPG-related question of your choice right then and there. Nobody ever takes us up on that offer.
Mm-mm.
If we reach $100 or more in super chats and rumble rants, it'll be a $50. Is it $50 this week or $75? Did I forget to update that?
It should be 75 because someone won last week, but no one collect.
Yeah, and the week before... Yeah, the week before, nobody, but we didn't make enough money. And the week before that, I can't remember if we won or not. You know what? For the sake of you guys, I'm going to update it to 75 in case I'm wrong, but I think it is 50. Whatever. Be Palladium Books or Drive-Through RPG gift card giveaway towards the end of the live stream. By the way, I haven't checked out the new Palladium Books website to see how well it is, and I did ask Kevin for affiliate links, so until he gives me an affiliate link, I'm still offering Drive-Through RPG because I want to make 30 cents on whatever sale. And you guys just removed the...
They put a verifying your human thing on the landing page.
Oh, for
Palladium Books.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it.
Let's see how the shop works. Oh, it's fast. Yep. Okay.
Well, there you go.
Once you get past that human verification, it's snappy.
Yeah, a lot of sites do that now, so I guess we just got to get used to that. Legion of Myth YouTube members and Rumble subscribers, as well as today's Super Chatters and Rumble Ranters, have the opportunity to win, that whole giveaway thing we were talking about, but you must be watching at the time of the giveaway to claim your victory. Yeah, twice, I think like 2 or 3 times in a row, we've had people watch or not watching, but we
won.
know them. Yeah. Else it rolls over to next week, and thank you very much for your kind support and donations. All right, Heathen Dog, tell us about how to be holy, but not quite as holy as the Paladin.
Holy moly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my read-through of the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition Player's Handbook. We've gone through the races, we're going through the classes now, and I am now today, this is a special day, because in my opinion, this is the most powerful class in this book. I'm going to talk about the Priest. Most powerful? What are you talking about? No. Hear me out. He's great at fighting. He's great at spellcasting. He can easily, with a couple of skills, be great at overland travel, scout, all that good stuff. The stuff that the priest can do, he can do all of it. Not the best, but good enough to where you're not going to care. Let's check it out.
Yeah, my contention is this, not contention, agreement, but is that so many people they want to protect the cleric so badly, they won't let the cleric fight.
Yes, and the cleric is made for fighting. We're going to get into that. He's supposed to be fighting. He's a warrior of God. The only warrior of God cooler than him is the paladin. And that's why they're so rare. Let's go. The priest is a believer and advocate of a god from a particular mythos. Or if you don't want to use that in your game, just generic god. You can do that too. That's absolutely fine. More than just a follower, he intercedes and acts on behalf of others, seeking to use his powers to advance the beliefs of his mythos. So you aren't just in church preaching away. You are out there on the ground. You are out there in the field. You are getting your hands dirty, and sometimes that means you got to club some skulls. The priest understands that, so he's trained to do it. All priests have certain powers: the ability to cast spells, the strength of arm to defend their beliefs, and special deity granting powers to aid them in their calling. While priests are not as fierce in combat as warriors, they are trained to use weaponry in the fight for their cause. They can cast spells primarily to further the god's aims and protect its adherents. They have few offensive spells, but the ones they do are very powerful. All priests use 8-sided dice. D8s. Only priests gain additional spells for having high wisdom scores. All priests have a limited selection of weapons and armor, but the restrictions vary according to the mythos. Again, we're going to get into that, especially when we get into specialty priests on my next segment. All priests use table 23 to determine their advancement in the level as they gain experience points. They also use table 24 to determine how many spells they receive at each level of experience. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at that since it's right here. So, table 23, to go up to second level is only 1,500 experience. Better, the only thing better is a thief.
And you haven't covered them yet.
I haven't covered them. That's next. But come on, man, 1,500? A wizard's 2,500 and he can't even wear armor or use a weapon worth a damn and has a really, really crappy Thaco. The priest doesn't have any of these problems.
And then they got you.
Yeah, and he's got double the hit points. He's rolling D8s. Wizard's rolling D4. Not only do you have less hit points, you can't wear any armor. That's a mugs game. I'm not playing that game. I'm playing a priest.
Do you want to get to the gotcha though?
What's that?
The gotcha where the experience points all of a sudden changes.
Oh yeah, you can see it goes. Where is it? Yeah,
it's always fun to compare to the wizard because the wizard's the highest one.
Yep.
So 225,000 for a priest to get to 9th level.
Yep.
And what is it for the wizard?
For the wizard, it is 250, but 11th level is 375. For the priest, that's going to be what, 450?
I forget. I know it's right in that area where the experience points change.
Yeah, 450, right there, level 10. It flip flops around. 450. That's crazy. And then the wizard is advancing faster after that every single time. But that's the way it goes. It's the way it is. But the thing is, I'm okay with that. From what I'm going to tell you now, I'm okay with that because of the stuff that the priest gets just out of the box. It's freaking crazy. Now the spell progression looks pretty familiar. Mm-hmm. 1 2 2 1 3 2 3 3 1 3 3 2. It's pretty linear type deal.
But you have more variety at your fingertips.
But this is where the nerf comes in.
Uh-oh.
See these asterisks? At level 6 and level 7 spells, you cannot even cast these spells unless you have a 17 and 18 wisdom.
That's right.
That's rough.
I never, well, I shouldn't say never, but I rarely run games at that level, so I just completely forgot about that.
That is rough. You are never going to be the pinnacle of your art if you don't have an 18, really, an 18 to cast the 7th level and a 17 to cast the 6th level. You're never going to get that. And getting that 17 and 18, if you're rolling straight, that's hard. And that's tough, man. So if you have an 18 wisdom and you decide not to be a priest, I don't know what to tell you, man, except you're dumb. All right, here we go. Oh, that's too close. There we go. All priest spells are divided into 16 categories called spheres of influence. Now, the mage, the wizard, has schools of magic. These are spheres of influence. This is the reason it's called sphere of influence is because it's granted by a god, and this god has in its nature an area that it specializes in. Like Ra would specialize in light and sun and fire, and Thor would specialize in, guess what, thunder and lightning, stuff like that. So depending on what god you pray to, those are the spells you're going to get, those specific spheres of influences. Now, again, if you just want to do the Yahweh, God is all one, blah, blah, blah crap, then you don't have to worry about that. You get access to all the spheres, I guess, but you don't get other special things that we're going to talk about later.
Well, also, it's not relevant to this book, but just to put it out there for folks, there are, I think, 4 or 6 other spheres that come in later in, I think, the Priest's Handbook.
Yeah. The 16 spheres of influence are as follows: all, animal, astral, charm, combat, creation, divination, elemental, guardian, healing, necromantic, plant, protection, summoning, sun, and weather. Does that seem like a lot? It is. But it's all very holistic. Weather, sun, plant, creation. It's all godly because this is where it all comes from. It comes from God. You know, all nature comes from God. God created the earth, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then it makes sense that powers granted by God would also follow the same conditions. In addition, a priest has either major or minor access to a sphere. A priest with major access to a sphere can eventually cast all the spells in that sphere. A priest with minor access to a sphere can only cast 1st through 3rd level spells from that sphere, no matter what level they are. All priests gain 1 8-sided die per level of hit points, 1st through 9th. After 9th, they earn 2 hit points per level and no longer get bonuses for high constitution. I think that is it. Yep, that is it for this page. So we're going to look at the cleric now. Ability requirement, wisdom 9. Nope. Prime requisite, wisdom. Yep. Races allowed, everyone. Everyone. God does not. God is not speciesist. Well, okay, certain particular.
Well, a lot of the realms,
each
race has their own gods. Gold,
yeah,
glitter,
each race
gold,
has their own
Corellon.
god, but you know, he'll take worshipers from wherever. Doesn't care. The most common type of priest is the cleric. The cleric may be an adherent to any religion, although if the DM designs a specific mythos, the cleric's abilities and spells may be changed. Again, that's for specialty clerics. Clerics are generally good, but not restricted to good. They can have any alignment acceptable to their order. So you can have bad clerics and good clerics. Just you worship a bad god, so you do bad things, and he gives you cool stuff to do bad things with. A cleric must have a wisdom score of 9 or more. High constitution and charisma are also particularly useful. You don't get any numbers bonuses for this except during role play. Having a priest with a high constitution is great because you have more hit points, and your saves may be a little better because you should be fighting. And a high charisma, well, everyone remembers the charismatic preacher, right? So, yeah. The cleric class is similar to certain religious orders of knighthood in the Middle Ages. Orders of knighthood. The Teutonic Knights, the Knights Templar, and Hospitallers. I always screw that up. These orders combined military and religious training with a code of protection and service. Members are trained as knights and devoted themselves to the service of the church. These orders were frequently found on the outer edges of the Christian world, either on the fringe of the wilderness or in war-torn lands, where a warrior priest is more needed. Archbishop Turpin in Song of Roland is an example of such a cleric. Similar orders can also be found in other lands, such as the Sohei of Japan. Clerics are sturdy soldiers, although their selection of weapons is a bit limited. They can wear any type of armor and use any shield. Standard clerics, being reluctant to shed blood or spread violence, are allowed to use only blunt, bludgeoning weapons. I don't know, man. If you crush someone's skull, is that considered less violent than stabbing him in the chest? I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. But
well, I actually think that bludgeoning is worse. It's harder to heal. It's harder to. It does more damage internally. You have a lot more things you don't see.
Yeah, it's insidious. They can use a fair number of magical items, including pre-scrolls, most potions and rings, some wands and rods, staves, armor, shields, and magical versions of any weapons allowed by their order. Spells are the main tools of the cleric, however, helping him serve, fortify, protect, and revitalize those under his care. He has a wide variety of spells to choose from, suitable to many different purposes and needs. A priest of a specific mythos probably has more restricted range of spells. A cleric has major access to every sphere of influence except plant, animal, weather, and elemental. He has minor access to the elemental sphere and cannot cast any of the spells of the other 3 spheres: plant, animal, and weather. Why? Because druids exist. That's why. The cleric receives his spells as insight directly from his deity. The deity need not make a personal appearance, just you pray and answers your prayers as a sign and reward of his faith. So he must take care not to abuse his power lest it be taken away. And that is another rub. He is a spellcaster that can have his power shut off if he doesn't straighten up and fly right. Same as a paladin.
Generally a little more lenient than paladin, because paladin's also pulled into his own code and all that other nonsense.
A little more lenient, you're absolutely right. But in both cases, God can snap his fingers and shut you off.
Yeah, if you do something that's against the gods, like you got a god that's just totally against murder, you can never kill for any reason, way, shape, or form. It's not just a code. Yeah, both the paladin and the cleric, like, you didn't want to murder, but negligence got you there, and that's still a crime or sin, whatever. Just the paladin has more rules internally.
Yes, a little harder. The cleric is also granted power over undead, evil creatures that exist in a form of non-life, neither dead nor alive. The cleric is charged with defeating these mockeries of life. His ability to turn undead enables him to drive away these creatures or just blow them up. Some of the more common undead creatures are ghosts, zombies, skeletons, ghouls, and mummies. Vampires and liches are two of the most powerful undead and, of course, the hardest to turn. As a cleric advances in level, he gains additional spells, better combat skills, stronger turning ability. Upon reaching 8th level, the cleric automatically attracts a fanatically loyal group of believers, provided the character has established a place of worship of significant size. Now, what's significant? That's up to you and the DM, right? The cleric can build this place of worship at any time during his career, but he does not attract believers until 8th level. These followers are normal warriors, 0-level soldiers, ready to fight for the cleric's cause. The cleric attracts 20 to 200 of these followers. They arrive over a period of several weeks.
And now you know how cults are formed.
There you go. Now the initial followers assemble, no new followers trickle in to fill the ranks of those who have fallen in service. So you lose them, you just lose them. The DM decides the exact number and types of followers attracted by the cleric. The character can hire other troops as needed, but these are not as loyal as his fanatical follower boys. At 9th level, the cleric may receive official approval to establish a religious stronghold, be it a fortified abbey or a secluded convent. Obviously, the stronghold must contain all the trappings of a place of worship and must be dedicated to the service of the cleric's cause. However, the construction cost of the stronghold is half the normal price since the work has official sanction and much of the labor is donated. The cleric can hold property and build a stronghold at any time before reaching 9th level, but is done without the church's sanction, so you don't get that 50% off price. Which is fine. That's fine. And then it goes into priest of a specific mythos, and I'm going to stop here now. This is right now your basic monotheistic priest. Your God is hands off, but he's out there and he grants all spells except for plant, animal, and weather. And you get minor. What was it? Minor in crap. What was it? I forget. Minor elemental sphere, and none of plant, animal, or weather, because that's for the druid, which is a specialty type cleric, and I'm going to go over him in the next segment, along with I'm going to pull out a book. The Legends and Lore book for AD&D 2nd edition is amazing. You've got all kinds of gods from all kinds of different pantheons, and you get a write-up of all their specialty priest powers and limitations. So I'm going to give that as an example. So what do we have for chat?
Before we go into that, because I want to mention this now. Oh, hit the super chat first, since this just popped up. The game is missing the priests of Gygax. I've never seen them in any of the material. Oh, you mean the priors of Gygax?
Priors, there it is. Yeah.
Thank you for the $20. There are definitely some people out there who worship at the altar of Gygax. Here's my mentality on that one. When I hear the difference between Gygax and Arneson, I'd say 9 times out of 10, I side with Arneson. But I also don't care but what either of them say. I care what they put in their books. That tells me what the rule is. That tells me what happened. Now, 2nd edition wasn't Gygax. We all know that. But yeah. But the Priest of Gygax, I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Now, this leads
Probably
into
online.
something here where I'm going to disagree with Heathen Dog a little bit on the difference between, and I want to do this before we get into the priests of specific mythos, and that's the difference between a cleric and a
Druid?
A priest.
Oh, cleric and a priest. Okay.
Well, especially priest or a priest. Heathen Dog, for whatever reason, which kind of surprises me, you take a very, very monotheistic view of the cleric. Most D&D worlds aren't monotheistic. Most of them are polytheistic.
The reason I do that is because most of the worlds that I ran were my own.
Fair enough. Okay.
And
that's
so
fair.
I just want to make it easier on myself. Like there's God, good God, and bad God. There you go.
That's fair. And you know what? You out there can make your own world like that. So here's how I handle the cleric versus the specialty priest that he's going to get into, especially when he starts talking about legends and lore, or you grab the Forgotten Realms book with all the priests. They got 9 million. They're like the Japanese, man. 6,000. I'm sure there's a toilet god in there somewhere.
It's in all the Forgotten Realms gods are in the Legends and Lore book too.
I don't think all of them are.
Well,
are they?
A great many.
Okay. Well, a lot of them actually come from real world. That's like Maliki, Tyr, and so forth. Those are actually real, like Norse and so forth gods. Anyway, so here's how I handle it. Clerics serve a pantheon. So a cleric, that's why they get such, if you look at the spell list, cleric spell lists are so much wider than specialty priests. Specialty priest has a different advantage. So because their spell list is wider, if the cleric needs something natural, he might pray to Gaia. If he needs something a little more powerful, he might pray to Zeus. If he needs something, pray for some wisdom, he might pray to Athena. And none of that matters because he understands that the entire pantheon is real and all the gods are real. He doesn't pick one. What he does do is make sure that you, in your life, essentially support the pantheon.
Yeah.
The flip side is the specialty priest. That's the one that picks one. He might know that the other gods exist, but they're either wrong or lesser or in a not for him.
They're not the ones I hitch my wagon to.
Right. And because of that, as he's going to explain in the next video, they tend to have a smaller spell selection. Forgotten Realms, I have to exclude you from that because you basically give every spell to everybody because you're weird. But they have a smaller spell selection, but they get special powers that represent that god. So that's how I do. I let the cleric, he's kind of a universalist, but he does have to be faithful to the pantheon. And the specialty priest is more monotheistic without being monotheistic. He picks one. Thoughts on that before we go to chat?
No, that's pretty much right.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We did that one. Once again, we'll say happy birthday to Walter MC. Now, Doc Flamingo. Okay, we saw that. Where did we start here? Okay, here we go. Doc Flamingo for $2. Thank you very much. In 1E, don't recall 2E. No, it's not in 2E. Your god's level also limits you to max spell level. If I remember correctly, the priest's handbook does talk about that. It's one of the handbooks I use the least. But I don't ever remember there being a true limitation saying, well, if it's only a demigod or only a lesser god, you get less spells.
There is the whole thing where you get less granted abilities.
Sure, for specialty priests.
Yeah. For like if for example, Hercules is a demigod. He doesn't take worshipers, but he could. But his granted abilities would be lesser than a regular intermediate or greater god or whatever. And in some cases, some gods don't even grant spells. In very rare cases, gods don't grant spells. What they do is sometimes they grant you all the abilities of a fighter or all the abilities of a thief as their special ability. You can do that in turn. That's about it.
Yep.
We'll get over it.
Let's see. Polyrobotics. Oh, we just read this one. So, okay. I thought we had another super chat in there, but I guess not. So, I didn't start anything else because I think people were listening intently. Got a bunch of people watching that. So a lot of conversation going on over in the Rumble side, by the way.
Oh, good.
Like, oh, come on. I can't scroll back up. Rumble covers half the stuff. Hey, we're on a mission from God. Like, yes, you are. Got a little Blues Brothers action going on here. And then Darius also said, brain tends to stick to a hammer after you hit someone in the head. And as somebody who's actually witnessed brain on the side of a car, he's right. He's right. So, yeah. So I don't know. That's always been weird to me that the bludgeoning weapon thing, it's a kinder, gentler weapon. No,
it is
not.
No, it is not.
All right. What are you going to cover next, sir?
Next, I'm going to cover specialty priests in general and the druid in particular.
All right. Well, we look forward to that. I have a lot of thoughts on the druid that I will not give today. I debated doing the druid's handbook, but I've covered that a couple of times. You're like, where's that video? Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to find them. If the old gatekeepers videos are up somewhere, you can see a big discussion on the true neutral alignment, which you can do. And anybody who says you can't is actually an idiot. And somebody's trying to hamstring the true neutral alignment into being something that it's not. At the same time, I do prefer the old version of neutrality over the 9 alignment version. And then also the whole idea of the druids and their circles, which I think Heathen Dog will get into, their hierarchy of where they have to start doing their fighting. A lot of people don't like that as well. But when you look at all the things that a druid can do and what you become after the fact, I don't know. I don't think that that's such a drawback. Oh no, you're stuck at 12th level again by 1 experience point. Who the hell cares? But hey, maybe it's you. Anyway, with that, look forward to seeing you in the next video.
All right, we got CPK coming in here with $10. Thank you very much. Our priests of in the cleric book. They draw from all god spheres, but limited to 5th level spells. It's not in this book, I'll tell you that much. And I don't have the priest handbook.
Priest handbook doesn't. I mean, I can pull it out. I do have it. That just gives you ideas on how to set up a priesthood, and then talks about certain schools. If you looked at the priest handbook and then said, I don't know about legends and lore so much, I'm not as versed in that, but set it next to the Forgotten Realms handbook, you'd say that Edward Greenwood didn't pay attention to it at all, because they have like half the spell selection that the Forgotten Realms gods give you. But with that in mind, I don't remember it actually going into a pantheon in the priest handbook. I actually hated the priest handbook. I thought it was one of the worst ones that they created. Sumer, it'd be Sumer or Babylonia.
Sumerian.
Greek, well, Doc
Aztec,
Flamingo has our answer for us.
Indian, Norse.
So Doc Flamingo for $5 says blunt weapons for clerics was taken from the bishop in Song of the Chanson de Roland, who made the not shedding blood remark. He was making a sick joke. Yeah, that's a sick joke, all right. By the way, for those who don't know, Doc Flamingo has his own game.
No, it's not in here.
I didn't think so. Which one's the main book? Looks like this is it. There we go. That's from Doc Flamingo. He sent it to me. You know what I have not read through it yet, haven't had time, but you know what I really love about this book? Let's find a really page just full of stuff. There we go. Look at that big ass font. Doc Flamingo, you are my new friend. Love it. And he fills up the pages. There's been some books I got recently from some indie creators where there's so much white space on the page, it's obnoxious. It's like, no, fill up those pages. Look at that. That's how you fill up a page. It's easy to read, well spaced, and actually fills up the page. Love it. Good job on that, Doc. I haven't read it yet. The game might suck. I don't know. But I really like the layout that you did on this. It's better than most of them that I've looked at recently from the indie crowd. Stuff.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, in a second here. Let me find the. Where's your banner?
There it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AD&D Second Edition read through of the Player's Handbook. We're talking about clerics. We're talking about specialty clerics today. Clerics of a particular god, and the druid, which is kind of a specialty. priest, but it has its own section because it breaks the rules of other specialty priests a little bit. But
Yeah.
we're going to get into that right now, so let's do it. All right. Priest of a specific method. In the simplest version of the AD&D game, clerics serve religions that are generally described as good or evil. Nothing more needs to be said about it. The game will play perfectly well. That's usually what I do. However, a DM who has taken the time to create a detailed campaign world has often spent some of that time devising elaborate pantheons, either unique creations or adaptations from history or literature. If the option is open and your DM can decide, you may want your character to adhere to a particular mythos, taking advantage of the detail and color your DM has provided. If your character follows a particular mythos, expect him to have ability spells and restrictions different from the generic cleric. Priesthood in any of these mythos must be defined in 5 categories: requirements, weapons allowed, spells allowed, granted powers, and ethos. Requirement. Before a character can become a priest of a particular mythos, certain requirements must be met. These usually involve minimum ability scores and mandatory alignments. All priests, regardless of mythos, must have a wisdom score of at least 9 to be a priest. Beyond this, your DM can set other requirements as needed. A god of battle, for example, should require strong, healthy priests. Strength 13, Constitution 12.
Hear our young men.
Exactly. Those whose sphere is art and beauty should demand high wisdom and charisma. Most deities demand a specific type of behavior from their followers, and this will dictate alignment choices. Like if you are hitch your wagon to a god of judgment, or god of the scales or whatever, you can't be a chaotic alignment. That would be a common thing. Weapons allowed. Not all mythoi are opposed to the shedding of blood. Indeed, some require their priests to use swords, spears, and other specific weapons. A war deity, for example, might allow his priests to fight with spears or swords. An agricultural deity might emphasize weapons derived from farm implements, sickles and bills, for example. A deity of peace and harmony might grant only the simplest and least harmful of weapons, lassos and nets. Given below are some suggested weapons, but many more are possible: agricultural god, earth god, nature god, ocean god, peace god, strength god, thunder god, war god, wind, whatever.
Hey, guess what weapons you don't find in the player's handbook, or at least not statistical write-ups for them?
Nets
and lassos. Ask me how I know.
Because you played.
I played a priest of Lyra, and I couldn't use a real weapon. So yeah.
So there is your lasso. Of course, there are many other reasons a deity might be associated with a particular weapon or group of weapons. It could be part of their lore, could be, their favorite weapon. So it's got to be your favorite weapon, stuff like that. All kinds of reasons. It all depends on the DM and the god you're using. Spells allowed. A priest of a particular mythos is allowed to cast the spells from a few related spheres. The priest's deity will have major and minor accesses to certain spheres, and this determines the spells available to the priest. The 16 spheres of influence are defined in the following paragraphs. We already know that. A priest whose deity grants major access to a sphere can choose from any spell within that sphere. Any level, doesn't matter. As long as you can cast it. While one allowed only minor access, you can only get levels 1 through 3 from that sphere. No matter what level you are, even if you're higher, can't do it. The combination of major and minor accesses to spheres results in a wide variation in the spells available to priests who worship different deities. And I'm not going to go over all the 16 spheres. That's not something I want to do today. Then we get to granted powers. This is the mea culpa for shrinking your spell list quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get this, which is wow. Let's take a look. Another aspect of a specific mythos is the special powers available to priests. The cleric's granted power is the ability to turn undead. Great. Most clerics get the ability to turn undead. Awesome. This ability, however, is not common to all priests. Other deities grant powers in accordance with their spheres. If your DM is using a specific mythos, he must decide what power is granted to your priest. Some possible suggestions are below. Incite Berserker Rage, adding a +2 bonus to attack and damage for a war god. Soothing Word, able to remove fear and influence hostile reactions. Peace, mercy, and healing. Charm or Fascination, which could act as a suggestion spell. Inspire Fear, radiating an aura of fear similar to a fear spell if you hitch your wagon to a death god.
Yeah, so a lot of these abilities were allowed like 3 times per day or 1 time per day as the spell, I can't talk all of a sudden. So it didn't take away from your spell list. It isn't like you just had to, memorize a new spell. These were things you could do 1 or 3 times per day, most of the time, sometimes per week, sometimes other limiters.
But it depends. It depends how powerful they are. If it's like a power word kill ability, that's going to be once per week or once per month. But if it's going to be, read languages, that's probably automatic all the time. Right? So it all depends. Ethos. All priests must live by certain tenets and beliefs. These guide the priest's behavior. Clerics generally try to avoid shedding blood and try to aid their community. A war deity has a different thing altogether, may order its priests to be at the forefront of battles and to actively crusade against all enemies. A harvest deity may want its priests to be active in the fields. The ethos may also dictate what alignment the priest must be. The nature of the mythos helps define the strictures the priest must follow. If you hitch your wagon to a war god, you better be doing war stuff. If it's a god of healing, you're going to be doing healing stuff. If it's a god of knowledge, you're going to be figuring out stuff. That's what you have to do. And hopefully it's what you want to do, or else you only hitched your wagon to this god for the numbers. And God's going to remember that. Don't do that.
And remember, the Dungeon Master is the god of gods.
Yes. Priest titles. Now, this is up to the DM and up to the world and up to, your specific order could call these things completely different things. Priests of differing mythos often go by titles and names other than priest. A priest of nature, for example, could be called a druid. Yeah. Shamans and witch doctors are also possibilities. A little library research will turn up many more unique and colorful titles, some of which are abbess, abbot, ayatollah, bonds, like Fonz, only more B, brother, dom, eye of the law, friar, guru, haji, imam, mendicant, metropolicate, what? A mullah, a pardoner, a patriarch, prelate, prior, qadi, rector, vicar, and yogi. All of these are names of priests.
Got a super chat.
We got a super chat.
What ethos and equipment do priests of Legion Myth use? You're totally naked, sir. We only do the naked.
Yep.
And frolicking under the open sky.
Yes.
And if it isn't on YouTube, it didn't happen.
Also true.
Thank you for the $20.
Then we go to balancing it all. When creating a priest of a specific mythos, careful attention must be given to the balance of the character's different abilities. A priest strong in one area or having a wide range of choice must be appropriately weakened in another area so that he does not become too powerful compared to the other priests in the game. If a war deity allows a priest to use of all weapons and armor, the character should be limited in the spells allowed or powers granted. At the other extreme, a character who follows a deity of peace should have significant spells and granted powers to make up for his extremely limited or maybe even non-existent choice of weapons. A druid, for example, has more granted powers than a normal cleric to compensate for the limited armor and spell selection. And speaking of druid, let's hit that right now. A druid, a specialty priest, has ability requirements of a wisdom of at least 12 and a charisma of at least 15. Prime requisites are both wisdom and charisma. Races allowed human and half-elf only.
Got to be able to grow a beard.
Why elves can't be druids? I don't know.
Got to look like a hermit in the woods.
I guess so. I guess that you have to be all shaggy and stuff.
Oh, Grizzly Adams. How many
Get off
people
my lawn, you varmint.
Put it into chat if you remember Grizzly Adams.
Historically, Druids lived among the Germanic tribes of Western Europe and Britain during the days of the Roman Empire. They acted as advisors to chieftains and held great influence over the tribesmen. Central to their thinking was the belief that the earth was the mother and source of all life. They revered many natural things, the sun, moon, certain trees, as deities. Druids in the AD&D game, however, are only loosely patterned after these historical figures. They are not required to behave like or follow the beliefs of historical druids. The druid is an example of a priest designed for a specific mythos. His powers and beliefs are different from those of the cleric. The druid is a priest of nature and guardian of the wilderness, be it forest, plains, or jungle. A druid must be human or half-elven, must have a score of wisdom 12, charisma 15. Both of them are prime requisites. Weapons allowed. Unlike the cleric, the druid is allowed to use only natural armors, leather and wooden shields, including those with magical enhancements. All other armors are forbidden. I think metal is natural. It's found in the ground. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, okay, if you, so I had a player do that to me, and this is what I said: if you take the raw iron and just duct tape it to you, I'll let you get by with it. But the second you start to forge it and change those molecules by heat forging it and heat treating it, then it's no.
Okay, but what about leather? It says you can do leather armor. You have to treat leather to make it armor too.
Not nearly. The boiling process for hardening it doesn't change the molecular structure the way it does for forging metal.
All right, so as long as I have cold rolled iron all over my body, I'm good to go. Haven't changed anything except the shape. That's allowed. All their armors are forbidden. His weapons are limited to club, sickle, dart, spear, dagger, scimitar, sling, and staff. I always add one more, the blowgun. I always add the blowgun. Because that's stupid easy natural too. And it encompasses a dart, basically. So what the hell? It's a dart through a straw.
South American druids?
Yeah. It's a dart through a straw. What are you going to do, man? Come on.
Right, his druids hang in the water. They got reeds, like they're just like special forces. They're just breathing out of reeds. And
that's exactly
pop
right.
out.
Spells allowed. Druids do not have the same range of spells as clerics. They have major access to the following spheres: all, animal, elemental, healing, plant, and weather. They have minor access to the divination sphere. Druids can use all magical items normally allowed by priests, except for those that are written, books and scrolls, and armor and weapons not allowed by druids. So that is a huge range shrink. You've gone from what, 12 full access to spheres to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've halved your sphere list. I don't know if it's half the spell list because there are more spells in some spheres than others, but you've halved the number of spheres you're granted. That sucks.
I'll tell you that I've played a bunch of druids in my life, and I never felt cheated, but there would be rare occasions I'd be like, I'd have that if I was a cleric, but that didn't happen a lot.
But it makes up for it in your
granted abilities.
Powers. Yeah. A druid makes most saving throws as a priest, but he gains a +2 bonus to all saving throws versus fire or electrical attacks. All right, that's something. I mean, it's really specific, but it's something. All druids can speak a secret language in addition to any other languages they know. The vocabulary of this druidic language is limited to dealing with nature and natural events. Druids jealously guard this language. It is the one infallible method they have of recognizing each other. Additional powers are granted as a druid reaches higher levels. Here we go. This is, my spell list sucks. Well, here you go. This is why. You can identify plants, animals, and pure water with perfect accuracy after reaching 3rd level. Okay. Normally people have to have skills for this or boil the water. No, you're fine. You can just do it. No, that's pure water. That's not. He can pass through overgrown areas without leaving a trail and at his normal movement rate after he reaches 3rd level. This is thick thorn bushes, tangled vines, briar patches. Everyone else is going to be hindered by at least 50%. Not you. I mean, in this instance, it's like walking between the raindrops. It's not a bother to you at all. He is immune to charm spells cast by woodland creatures after he reaches 7th level. Now, this is very situational, but I'm telling you right now, every goddamn fairy in the book is going to cast some kind of enchantment charm on somebody.
And I agree with Heathen Dog so much in this one. I keep hearing about sylphs and dryads and sirens and everything. Like people are just hanging out with them. No, they're mischievous. They're all mischievous. They're all crazy, but that's why we let the elves deal with them.
Yeah. The elves have the patience for that nonsense. Not me. He gains the ability to shape change into a reptile, bird, or mammal up to 3 times per day once he reaches 7th level. Each animal form can be used only once per day. So reptile, bird, or mammal, you get 1 each per day. The size can vary from that of a bullfrog to a small bird to as large as a black bear. Upon assuming the new form, the druid heals 10 to 60% of all damage he has suffered. This is great in running away. You don't get it, man. You're on the front line of a fight. You're fighting, you're down to like 20% of your hit points. You're bleeding, you're tired, and then the enemy gets reinforcements. You're like, okay, I'm out. You turn into a bird, you instantly heal 10d6 percent of your health, and you get to fly away. That's great. That's a good deal, man. I'll take that deal.
Your party members might not like it, but I don't care.
Yeah. Thus, a druid could change into a wren to fly across a river, transform into a black bear on the opposite side and attack the orcs gathered there, and finally change into a snake to escape into the bushes before more orcs arrive. I mean, I wouldn't blow my load on all 3 at once, but okay, you can do that. The druid's clothing and 1 item held in each hand also become part of the new body. These reappear when the druid resumes his normal shape. The items cannot be used while the druid is in animal form. Okay, now this one right here is a little rough because by the read, that means any other items that you're not holding in your hands do not change with you. Since it specifically said 1 item held in each hand.
Now, you're a druid. You travel light anyway.
Is a backpack an item, or does it count all the things inside as separate items? That's up to your dungeon master. Me personally, I didn't use this. Anything that you're walking around with, you're fine. Now, if you're being stupid, like I'm going to carry the boat, turn into a bear, and the boat will absorb. No, dude, no. If you can put it in your backpack or put it on your person, like a normal human being, it'll be transformed along with you.
I generally did the same thing. It depended on how anal I was being about encumbrance. When I was younger, I was much more anal about encumbrance than when I got older. Or I don't hand wave it, but at the same time, I don't. Are you 3 ounces away? You know, where just Is it on your character sheet yet? Is it something you normally have in possession yet? Then you're fine. But if it's something that, like you were kind of saying, but even something smaller, if it's something that's kind of out of the ordinary, well, that might get left behind.
Yeah. And a druid cannot turn undead.
I know, it sucks.
In the course of a campaign, you are going to feel that one.
Yeah.
You are going to feel that one.
I always wondered why that was, because I mean, aren't you a being of nature, and isn't something that's against nature the undead?
Yeah, you would think. You would think you'd still have the ability to turn undead. Maybe not as well, maybe 3 levels lower. I'll grant you that. But, come on. But the druid ethos. As protectors of nature, druids are aloof from the complications of the temporal world. Their greatest concern is for the continuation of the orderly and proper cycles of nature. Birth, growth, death, and rebirth. Druids tend to view all things as cyclic, and thus the battles of good and evil are only the rising and falling of tides of time. Only when the cycle and balance are disrupted does the druid become concerned. Given this view of things, the druid must be neutral in alignment. Now, neutral in alignment doesn't mean what most people play it as to mean. Neutral in alignment, especially in this instance where the balance must be preserved, doesn't mean balance in every damn thing.
You pick steak over pork, and I've literally seen this happen.
Yes.
You pick steak over pork, that means you're not neutral.
God. See, no, that's ridiculous. That's
if you kill
ridiculous.
One orc, you have to kill 1 elf.
Yeah, nature deals in vast numbers.
Thank you.
Huge number sets. So it's the big things that matter, right? Orcs have a cycle of aggression and regression. They breed, they become more numerous, they go and take over lands, they breed more, they take over lands, and then the humans, the elves, and the dwarves beat them back down. to where they were when they started. And then the cycle starts over again. That is natural. That is the natural course for the orc evolution. The druid will have no problem fighting orcs in that instance.
If
Now,
there's one thing about the Druid's Handbook that is absolutely fantastic, is its dissertation on the true neutral alignment. It
yeah.
is that is look, I don't like pirating, but at the same time, if there's one part, go pirate that little section from the Druid's Handbook on the true neutral alignment. It is absolutely a fantastic read.
Yep. Now, the opposite is also true. After the orcs have been beat down to their pre-aggression levels, a druid will not go in there to finish them off, to completely exterminate them. Because again, that goes against the natural cycle. You can make that argument. And the druid would make arguments like that. Like there can be no good without evil, but sometimes evil is ascendant and sometimes good is ascendant. Fighting to change that balance is not bad. That balance has to change. It has to come, ebb and flow. So taking a stand against one or the other does not break your true neutral alignment. Now, if you were to make sure that evil was ascendant all the time or good was ascendant all the time, that would break your alignment. Because that's outside of nature. That's not how the natural world works. Okay, let's move on. Druids tend to view all things as blah, blah. Druids are charged with protecting the wilderness, in particular trees, wild plants, wild animals, and crops. By association, they are also responsible for their followers and their animals. Druids recognize that all creatures, including humans, need food, shelter, and protection from harm. Hunting and farming and cutting lumber for homes are logical and necessary parts of the natural cycle. However, Druids do not tolerate unnecessary destruction or exploitation of nature for profit. Think about it like this. Cutting down a forest to make homes for people, a druid would be fine. As long as you didn't take the entire forest, it would be fine. But clearing out an entire forest to create a mining operation would send the druid into a tizzy.
Come on, do it right. It's a parking lot.
And let's see. Hunting, killing bison, only enough to feed your particular community, and of course using the hide and the bones and whatever in other things. Druids, no problem with that. Completely fine. But I really someone should pray to you for you if a druid finds 100 bison just skinned and everything else
Poaching.
left to rot in the sun.
Yep. Elephant poaching for the ivory.
Yeah, druids are going to find you, and they're going to teach you where you went wrong in life.
Remember,
Mistletoe,
he might be the elephant.
yeah, he might be the elephant. That's right. Mistletoe is an important holy symbol to druids, and it is a necessary part of some spells requiring a holy symbol. You need mistletoe. To be fully effective, the mistletoe must be gathered by the light of the full moon using a golden or silver sickle specially made for this purpose. Mistletoe gathered by any other means halves the effectiveness of a given spell it's used in if it causes damage or has area effect, and grants a +2 bonus to the saving throw when applicable. So
I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot about that one, but I remember always having that dumb sickle in my character sheet and like,
yep.
why?
Why do I have this?
And I just completely forgot about that.
Now you know. Druids as a class do not dwell permanently in castles, cities, or towns. All druids prefer to live in sacred groves where they build a small sod, log, or stone cottage. Now, here's the bigger rub of the druidic is the organization. This will actually take away player agency. Normally, I'm all about that. I love it. Screw your agency. But this one, I think, goes a little too far. That's why I don't like playing druids. Druids have a worldwide structure. At their upper levels, 12th and above, only a few druids can hold each level. Yes, even if you have the experience points, you have to jump through hoops before you gain a level. At 12th level, the druid character acquires the official title of druid. All druids below that level are considered initiates. There can only be 9 12th level druids in any geographic region. As defined by oceans, seas, and mountain ranges, a continent may consist of 3 or 4 such regions. For example, in the US, you could have an argument for 4 regions.
See, west of the Rockies, up to the Mississippi, and then north and
Yep.
south. Yeah. Something
Yep.
like, or use Appalachians as an example.
You could use the Appalachians too. Like that's why I said, 4. You could have 5 too. I mean, you could argue for 5, but at least 4. So you can have how many is it? 9 12th level druids east of the Rockies, west of the Rockies, northeastern, southeastern, 9 in each of those areas. This is possible only if there are, hang on. A character cannot reach 12th level unless he takes his place as one of the 9 druids in the area. This is possible only if there are currently fewer than 9 in the region, or if the character defeats one of the 9 in magical or hand-to-hand combat, thereby assuming the defeated druid's position. If such combat is not mortal, the loser drops experience points so that he has exactly 200,000 remaining, just enough to be 11th level. The precise details of each combat are worked out between the 2 combatants in advance. The combat can be magical, non-magical, or a mixture of both. It can be fought to the death until only one character is conscious, until a predetermined number of hit points is lost, or even until the first blow is landed, although in this case, players could both have to be supremely confident in their abilities. Whatever can be agreed upon between the characters is legitimate so long as there is some element of skill and risk. So, what I do when this rarely happens, because I don't like druids, but when it rarely happens, you go to a 12th level druid, you're 11th level, you have enough to go to 12, you challenge him in combat. You challenged him, he gets to arbitrate the rules of the combat. The challenged gets to say how we are fighting. And then you get to say where we are fighting.
This is fleshed out more in the Druid's Handbook also.
Exactly, yeah. That's all fleshed out in Druid's Handbook and more specifically, but that's what I do. I base it off of other historical duel challenges. How it works kind of.
I mean, if I remember correctly, that's how it's written in the Druid's Handbook. One person, the challenger picks the style, and the challenged picks the time and location.
Yeah. When a character becomes a 12th level druid, he gains 3 underlings. Their level depends on the character's position among the 9 druids. The druid with the most experience is served by 3 9th level initiates. The second, 3 8th level, and so on until the least experienced druid is served by 3 1st level initiates. Only 3 archdruids, 13th level, can operate in a geographic region. To become an archdruid, the 12th level druid must defeat one of the reigning archdruids or advance into a vacant position. Each of the 3 archdruids is served by 3 initiates of 10th level. From among the archdruids of the entire world, 3 are chosen to serve as the Grand Druid. These 3 retain their attendees, but are themselves servants of the Grand Druid. Entire world, there are 3 chosen. Yeah, Grand Druid. The Great Druid, 14th level, is unique in his region. He, too, won his position from the previous Druid. He is served by 3 11th level initiates. The ascendance of a new Great Druid usually sets off shockwaves of turmoil and chaos through the druidical hierarchy.
Because he's just signing executive orders all over the place.
I know, right?
No, I'm serious about that. It's in the Druid's Handbook.
Yeah. He can start making rules for everyone on the continent.
Yep.
The ascendance of a new Great Druid usually sets blah, blah. The advancement of an Archdruid creates an opening that is fiercely contested by the Druids, and the advancement of a Druid creates an opening in their ranks.
Can you do me a favor? Can you go back to the experience point section about this? Because I want to make a comment about this. It's in the priest. It's got all the priest crap there.
Oh my god! I didn't
you've read a lot of pages.
I know. There we go.
Okay, so notice that there you go. Level 17. Okay, I'm sorry. It was level 17 where it jumps. So here's the deal, and I might have the terms wrong in this. It's been a while since I read the Druid's Handbook. The problem with being the Great Druid or the Hierophant Druid, and I forget which one it is. It's one of those two, and I want to say it's whatever one's at 17th level because those experience points are low. Is the fact that you are a political person. If you are not into domain play, it is a horrible horrible level for you because
Yep,
you
you don't
are
want.
an administrator, an advisor. You're not doing any of the cool adventuring stuff. And again, the Druid's Handbook dives into this more. I don't agree with Heathen Dog. I actually like this. I like things that are interesting and that add flavor to classes, and I think it does it. At the same time, I do think it's a bit excessive and a bit hard. And when you read about this, especially if your game master's good and you keep losing those stupid fights, you're going to find that you are just dying to finally get out of all this crap. And it actually talks about that druids feel relieved when they're no longer the great druid anymore. Like, oh, thank God, I can just be me
I can
again.
do things now.
Yes.
Yeah, and in fact, let's talk about the Grand Druid and the Hierophant Druid. The highest ranking druid in the world is the Grand Druid, starting at 15th level. Unlike great druids, several of whom can operate simultaneously in different lands, only one person in a world can ever hold this title at one time. Consequently, only one druid may be 15th level at any time. The Grand Druid knows 6 spells of each level instead of the normal spell progression, and can also cast up to 6 additional spell levels, either as a single spell or several spells whose levels total to 6. For example, 1/6, 6 first, 3 second. It just has to add up to 6. The Grand Druid is attended by 9 other druids who are subject only to him and have nothing to do with the hierarchy of any specific land or area. Any druid character of any level can seek the Grand Druid and ask to serve him. 3 of these 9 are archdruids who roam the world, acting as his messengers and agents. Each of them receives 4 additional spell levels. The remainder are normally druids of 7th to 11th level, although the Grand Druid can request a druid of any level to serve him and often considers applications from humble aspirants. The position of Grand Druid is not won through combat. Instead, the Grand Druid selects his successor from the acting Great Druids. The position is demanding, thankless, and generally unexciting for anyone except a politician. After a few 100,000 experience points of such garbage, any adventurer worthy of the name probably is ready to move on. For this reason,
that's 100% true. I cannot express this enough because the Druid's Handbook actually, when you're reading it, you're like, oh God, who'd ever want to, oh my Lord, no, just get me through this. And it even kind of intones in there like, woohoo, I made it. I get to be another level.
There it is.
Do something now.
For this reason, the Grand Druid reaches 16th level after earning only 500,000 more experience points. After reaching 16th level, the Grand Druid can step down from his position anytime, provided he finds a suitable successor, another Druid with 3 million experience points or more. Upon stepping down, the former Grand Druid must relinquish the 6 bonus spells and all of his experience points but 1. He keeps the rest of his abilities. He is now a 16th level Hierophant Druid and begins advancing anew. Using the progression table in table 23, the character may rise as high as 20th level as a Hierophant Druid. Beyond 15th level, the Druid never gains any new spells. Ignore the spell priest progression table from this point on. Casting level continues to rise with experience. Rather than spells, spell-like powers are acquired.
He travels the planes at this point.
Yeah, at this point, you're living your best life in retirement.
And you realize how bad it was being the Grand Druid that you're like, I'm going to the
elemental plane of fire. Now you're cashing in your Roth IRA, and you get all this tax-free money to go travel the multiverse. Starting at 16th level, the Hierophant Druid gains 4 powers: immunity to natural poisons, vigorous health for a person of his age. You are no longer subject to ability score adjustments for aging. You will age and you will die, but you will never be weaker or dumber for it. Well, any more than you might already be. The ability to alter his appearance at will. Appearance alteration is accomplished in 1 round. A height and weight increase of 50% is possible with an apparent age from childhood to extreme old age. Body and facial features can resemble any human or humanoid creature. This alteration is not magical, so it cannot be detected by any means short of a true seeing spell. You're actually changing the way your bone structure is underneath your skin. Now,
and what spells don't exist in my world?
Yeah. Does it hurt? I would think so. But, maybe not. At 17th level, the character gains the biological ability to hibernate. His body functions slow to the point where the character may appear dead to a casual observer. Aging ceases. The character is completely unconscious during hibernation. He awakens at either a predetermined time or when there is a significant change in his environment. A 17th level Hierophant Druid can also enter the elemental plane of Earth at will. The transference takes 1 round to complete. The ability also provides the mean to survive on that plane, move around, and return to the prime material at will.
What's cool about that is, how do you normally get to the elemental plane of Earth?
Don't you have to go through the astral plane?
Ethereal
Plane, and then you have to
Yeah.
find a color pool
Yep.
or whatever, go in there, and then
Color pools are astral again, but you got the idea. It's like you have this process. You have to deal with the undead and then whatever else might be hiding. You're just like, nope, I'm out.
And then if you're somehow there in your real body, you better have a couple of spells to not suffocate it instantly.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're a 7th level druid, yeah, doesn't matter. It's home. 18th level, plane of fire. 19th level, plane of water. 20th level, plane of air. A 20th level druid can go so many different places. Oh God. That's just amazing. There's stuff that
so question for you, and I'm asking this intentionally just to kind of spur some conversation on. 2nd edition doesn't dive into it as much as 1st edition did. Well, until Planescape, but we all know that's garbage. Yeah, hot take, but I don't care. It's true. But what about the quasi-elemental and para-elemental planes like smoke, ash, and so forth? It doesn't say that specifically for them.
It doesn't. But
2nd edition didn't deal with that a lot.
I would say that, for instance, the ash, that is the plane buffering both earth and fire realms. If you have earth and fire travel, I would adjudicate that now you can go to the plane of ash.
I think that's actually magma, but who cares?
Magma, whatever. Yeah, you can go to the plane of magma. Yeah, ash is air, right? Yeah, but and be completely fine, because you are completely fine in both of the planes that created this one.
That's how now I didn't have to deal with any druids because I was usually the one either playing the druid. I didn't have a lot of druids that I had as players, but that's how I would have ruled it as well. As long as you had both, you're fine.
Yep. And that is it for the special. Oh no, wait. I'm gonna go over a couple. I don't have the PDF. Sorry. Legends and lore, just for a specialty cleric example.
Can you look up one other thing while you're in there, because it came up in chat? This is the book that people were saying that they think that the spell limitations by god power came from. So demigod versus lesser god versus
all right, let's take a look.
Greater god and so forth.
Greater god, intermediate god, demigod. Okay, let's see here. Multitask, avatars, define ascension, blah blah blah. Abbreviations. No. No, it talks about God's abilities depending on their stature, demi, lesser, intermediate, and greater.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't. Oh, granted abilities. Here we go. Granted abilities. Greater gods, granted abilities. A greater god can grant any power or spell of any level to his or her priests. It is through this ability that deities give priests and paladins their magical powers. Lesser gods. Granted abilities. Lesser gods can grant their worshippers any power that does not exceed their own powers or spell of up to 6th level.
Okay. There we go. I never used that.
Demigods can grant any power or spell of up to 5th level to their worshippers and priests. So yes, if the lower they are, the harder it is. Intermediate gods can grant any power that does not exceed their own or spell of any level to priests. Like the greater gods, they use this power to give spells to their priests. Yeah, so greater or intermediate gods, they pretty much can grant any priest whatever they want. Yeah, but if you're lesser,
I'll be honest with you, I don't like that rule. If you're following, as long as you're following a god, I don't like when people follow like elementals or angels or divas or whatever. But if you're following a god, you get spells up to 7th level. That's the whole point of being a cleric, is to follow god or pantheon and get the spells. Like, if somebody wants to add that nuance to their game, I'm not mad at them or anything. I just don't think that. No, I would never use.
Hang on. Let's go here. What mythos do you want? American Indian, Arthurian legend, Aztec, Celtic, Chinese, Egyptian, Greek, Indian, Japanese, or New Houghton, Newton.
I want you to try to pronounce those Japanese gods.
Oh, you're a dick. All right. All right, here we go. Amaterasu.
Hey, there you go.
There you go. Duties of the priesthood. Priests of Amaterasu must dedicate themselves to the emperor and follow his every command. If they ever form an alliance with an enemy of the emperor's, they are immediately and irrevocably lose all their powers. Requirements. Ability score standard. Alignment, any lawful. Weapon, spear, lance, or mace. Armor, any. Spells, spheres. All astral, charm, creation, divination, elemental, healing, protection, and sun. All of those are major. Granted abilities. At 3rd level, you get to cast the light spell once per day. At 10th level, you can fly at will, movement rate 15 once per day. And you can turn undead.
It doesn't have sunray or sunbeam or whatever.
Well, yeah, well, no. But you have the sphere of the sun. So you get all
for some reason stuff. I thought she gave it extra either sunray or gave it as a granted ability. I might be thinking of a different god.
Susano, maybe. Priests of Susano or Susano must always weather fierce storms outside of shelter. Because you're the god of thunder and lightning and crap. Despite they tend to be moody, unpredictable, and unreliable. Okay. Despite these handicaps, they often find temporary work with farmers using their weather controlling abilities to safeguard crops, usually for a good price.
Or really bad attitude.
Yeah. Ability, standard. Alignment, any chaotic. Weapon, spear, polearm, bow and arrow. Bow and arrow. A priest. Bow and arrow. Armor, E.
Well, it is Japan.
Armor is E. Is that like natural hide? I know A is everything. E is
E is nothing.
may only wear magical armor.
Oh, well.
That's E. Wow. Okay. All right. Only magical armor. Other than that, you're fighting in the buff. Spells. All combat, creation, divination, elemental, sun, weather. Granted abilities. At 10th level, you can quiet storm. That reduce winds by 10 miles per hour per level. That's 100 miles per hour when you get it because you're level 10. And the amount of rain by 1 inch per level. So that's 10 inches at level 10. So yeah, I understand why if the, hurricane season comes along or typhoon.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Typhoon season comes along. You're going to send out Susano's avatar or whatever, Susano's priest. Make that all stop. Like, all right.
After living on Okinawa, I can tell you that's real.
That's real. Okay. So that is an example of specialty priests in the Legends and Lore book. If you don't want to make up your own ethos, just use these.
Yeah.
You can change the names if you want. That's fine. And everything's all written up for you already. It's all balance tested as much as anything can be. So there you go.
My only heartburn is when people mix and match.
Yeah. You don't want
it gets confusing.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two,
pantheon.
Right. And people are trying to find which number is better. Do I want this god of war, that god of war? Just pick a pantheon and go with it. Yeah. All right.
And that's it. So what do we have for chat?
All right. I start a few things here. Going all the way back.
All the way back.
We read that super chat. I know that. Okay, so we go back to the question about
Okay.
Apparently, priests were from Forgotten Realms. Well, I'm sorry, but was an ancient Mesopotamian city, so I didn't know that it was from Forgotten Realms.
Well, Forgotten Realms doesn't have everything.
Kinda, to some degree. Yeah. Like I was trying to look for my Old Ones book over there to see if it was in that one, but I couldn't quickly find the Old Ones book, and it was ripping my headsets off. So, but yeah. And then Killraven says, I don't recall priest being a thing until 3rd edition, which would make sense as to why I had no clue about it, because I don't play WotC editions.
Yeah, he's not in here. I'll tell you that much.
Clicky. We read that super chat. There we go. This has always been a funny one for me as well. Scimitar is okay. Longsword is not. Hey, buddy. Let me check the curvature of that blade. And for sports fans out there, I don't know how many of you are, but I got the reference. It's like the George Brett Pine Tar rule. Yes, I agree. Is that pine tar too high on the handle? In this case, is that sword curved enough for me to allow you to use it? Yeah, sometimes the rules in Dungeons and Dragons are meant to combine thematic with game balance. It's why wizards can't wear armor, even though there's really no way you can find a good reason why they can't. But there's a little bit of game balance here. And why does scimitar? Why is scimitar? Apparently, there's like some sort of appendix N. I didn't read the book that fits it. So yeah, so it's a weird thing. But I will say this: one of the reasons why I do like the scimitar is because then not everybody is just running around with longswords.
Yeah,
and it does make you think about your weapons a little more. It's not a big deal, but it's just one of those little things. But thank you for the $5, Doc.
What else we got?
You missed learn language when you're going through the list of druid abilities. Apparently, you missed that you could learn some languages or something.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I was waiting for the part where you could talk to squirrels. Oh wait, that's gnome. Why can't gnomes be druids?
We'll talk to squirrels here. Oh, I got this. I did the secret language.
Oh, okay.
And learn the languages of all woodland creatures. Oh yeah, I skipped that one. Yep. Yeah, you can talk to centaurs, dryads, elves, fauns, elves. What? Just talk Elvish, dude. Gnomes, dragons, giants, lizardmen, manticores, nixies, pixies, sprites, trance, and the druid can add one language at 3rd level and one more every time he advances a level beyond 3rd. Okay, but who would want to talk to these things? I mean, I guess a druid, but no one else. Well, I had a really great conversation with a centaur. Was it about his balls? Because other than that, I don't want to tell you.
Wait, what? Huh?
Never mind.
Okay. RPG Grandma says this is talking about Perry's pixies, sprites, nymphs, all sirens, all that. She said, and she's right. They're all evil, no matter what the alignment chart says. Anybody that's going to seduce you and play practical jokes on you and turn your freaking eyeballs into gems and your weapons into little dingleberries or something, yes, they're evil.
Well, evil to you. They thought it was hilarious.
I've seen wizards. You know what's the wrong side won? Scorched forever, baby. Thank you, RPG Grandma. Omenal, just remember the priests have more restrictions than a paladin if you play them correctly with the legends and lore. 1E is more explicit for the limitations and requirements in 2E. Now, here's why I started this one for Heathen Dog Jumps into Legends lore. I just want to remind folks that while this is true, and this is the type of comment I would probably make as well, I want to just be very clear to people out there, we are only covering what is in the core book. So out of the core book, this isn't true, but yes, once you start adding in Legends lore, the Priest's Handbook, and maybe the Druid's Handbook, some other stuff that might be absolutely reasonable, viable, and perfect for your game, then you can actually have more limitations, more powers, and more character within the classes.
I agree.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted to say anything about Legends and lore. I rarely ever use Legends and lore. I don't know why. I either use Kryn gods or Forgotten Realms gods.
I understand.
And Per says, where's the 4th power? Now, when you went to the powers for, I think it's 16th or 17th level, he said something like there are 4 powers there, and yeah, there are only 3 bullets.
Oh, wow. Oh, I guess you're right. I'm sorry. 3 powers.
Well, it does say in the text right there.
It does say 4. It does say 4 powers, but you're right. I only see 3.
Stop trying to be an editor. We're just reading the book. Okay. That's all I start.
Okay.
Anything? Omenel had a lot of things to say. People who watch this after the fact, by the way, if you're watching on video, you're not going to get it. But if you watch a live stream after the fact, I do save the chat. You can read all of Omenel's and Lord Fullmind had a lot of good information on there about some ideas for priests and how they're handled in 2nd edition, other editions, and so forth. So check that out. So, anywho, I just want to make sure. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, good enough.
And that is it. And next week, I will be taking a look at the Thief and Bard, the quickest advancement of all of the classes in this book. And arguably the ones with the most definitive and easily accessible abilities in this book, especially the thief.
And I contend that they have the lowest or they have the easiest advancement because they die the most.
Okay, thief and bard have unlike many of the other classes, their survivability is more dependent on their play style.
Yep.
If you play it wrong, you're going to die. If you play a fighter wrong, you're going to get hurt. If you play a cleric wrong, you're going to get hurt. You play a ranger wrong, you're going to get hurt. You play a rogue wrong, you're going underground.
You're going to be poisoned, and your party's going to be mad because now they have to break open the door that you were supposed to get them through.
Yeah. So I'm going to go over that too, probably.
All right. Well, look forward to talking to everybody next week. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we don't really have any major calls to action in that one, but if there's anything you want to comment about what we were talking about, not the Planescape thing. This video wasn't about Planescape. We'll get to that never. Maybe in the future at some point, but anything about our coverage of the priests. How do you run your priests? How do you run your clerics? Do you run them differently? Do you like priests? Do you like clerics? Do you just play in a monotheistic world, or do you enjoy pantheons? Do you let your humans worship elven gods? Don't do that. Do you let your dwarves swear at their gods? I don't know. what are your thoughts just overall on priests, druids, and other specialty priests? Forward your comments, and talking to you guys next week. All right.
Someone said something about like, oh, what about Crom? What about Conan God? And there is a god. I don't know if I can find him immediately, but there is a god in here whose priests are basically fighters. They get all fighter abilities, and I think it is Odin or Thor.
All right, so you're probably not going to find it. I mean, you might find that. Thanks to Squirrel Hermit, you are an awesome dude, sir. So here's my deities and demigods, maybe in a little better condition, but it isn't the cool one. Squirrel Hermit, thanks to him, I have the cool deities and demigods, and maybe they're in here with the Cthulhu mythos. Because didn't Cthulhu and Conan mix?
I don't know. But yeah, Odin, a priest of Odin. You still get spells, all animal, combat, divination, elemental, protection, and summoning. But at first level, you get 1 extra hit point per level. At 10th level, you get Fighter Thaco. And you can still turn undead.
Nope, that one.
Zeus lets you throw fucking lightning bolts, man. He's no joke. Yeah, Zeus, where is he at? 110. Here we go. Zeus, you get at first level 1 lightning bolt. That's 1d4 damage per level per day. At 15th level, you can polymorph self and have sex with people who aren't your wife, because apparently that's his
oh wow,
that's his deal. You must have a strength of 14 or higher. The only weapon you can use is a spear.
But that's because you like to poke things, man. Come on.
Yes, you like to poke things. It's all very on brand. All right, I'll be back in a sec.
Sounds good. I guess I'll get kind of set up here for mine. So, yeah, good stuff there with the cleric. He didn't dive into it as much as I thought he was going to, but he's absolutely spot on. Like how he started things off, talking about how the cleric is, wouldn't call it OP. I mean, we joke about it being quote unquote OP, overpowered, but the thing is they're just they're so versatile. Sure, they're not the best at anything, so to speak. As in, yeah, the fighter's going to fight better, but if your dungeon... Why can't I get these stupid windows to go where I want them to go? But if your dungeon master is doing things correctly, your fighter should be hitting more often than not anyway. Because just think about it this way, with those Thacker rolls and so forth, fighters, if they can't hit, nobody else can hit. If they're hitting, if everybody else is hitting partially, well, then they're hitting all the time. That's just kind of the way it is. So there we go. Oof. So a cleric is meant to be in the front line, and this is just something that I recognize. It goes, to be fair, it goes back to my games as well. I just remember so many people, and I see it constantly like, no, cleric, you got to stand in the back. You got to stand in the back. Now, I played a lot of specialty priests, so I played specialty priests that required you to not wear armor and stuff, like ones that gave extra spell casting and things like that. So sometimes that would, that makes sense. Maybe a priest of mask, you want to be a little more sneaky, sneaky, pokey, pokey, because he's basically just a thief in priest clothing. But a traditional just cleric, just playing the base cleric, which a lot of people poo poo. They think that it's like, oh, I'd rather do something with special powers or whatever. Man, all the abilities you get from a cleric are those spells. That spell list you get is just insane.
The spell list is huge. I mean, we're going to go over magic weeks and weeks and weeks from now. But when we do, you're going to see how many more spells that priests get access to versus wizard. I mean, sure, the wizard gets a lot of the boom boom spells. But at high level, the cleric gets some boom boom stuff like fiery retribution and crap like that. That is some massive stuff. But they get a lot of buff and debuff type stuff.
Yeah, I think one of the things that people do in adventure design, I'm not going to call it wrong, just play style, is that just like there's always something tough, like, oh, let's fight the 2 ogres and your 3rd level or something, or let's fight the fire elemental. And a lot of times I think game masters forget that, if you have like 20 goblins, now your wizard, sure, that fireball spell is great, but hopefully even the goblins aren't so stupid as to be lined up in a formation where you just whoosh and die. They're coming out of the walls like roaches and so forth. Like all of a sudden now the wizard has to fight. Yeah, your wizard with a staff should be able to hit a goblin. He's not going to want to take too many hits from the goblin.
No,
but every round shouldn't be the wizard just casting a spell. There are games for that. Palladium, which I'm going to be covering in a moment, is a perfect game that's more about that. In the Vancian style games, like Dungeons and Dragons, the wizard is supposed to use a spell more judiciously. And I really think that if you read the most of the Dungeons and Dragons novels, they portray that very well. But it's not how people play. How many times did Racelands just cast spells all over the place? Usually he's like, shut up and leave me alone, right? Mm-hmm. How many times did, in the Avatar trilogy, did Midnight and Celeborn and so forth, were they, well, Celeborn wouldn't do that, but you get what I'm saying? Like how many times they just spell this, spell that, spell that? It just didn't really happen a lot. They were more judicious in how they did their fight and how they had to have their staff out there and hold the shield up. Well, somebody, let me finish this one off. Don't die before this. But everybody now, no, not everybody. It just seems to be the theme nowadays where it's like, well, I have 2 spells, I'm worthless. You have a staff.
Yeah. Or if you're in case of a cleric, you have armor, a shield, and a giant bludgeoning piece of death.
For the priest, yep, absolutely.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we got Doc Flamingo here. No spell memorization for the clerics is also huge. Not as huge as you think. It's the same effect, but a different process. You have to pray to fill your spell slots. And when we get to the magic portion, you'll see that praying takes time depending on the spell level, just like memorizing spells for a wizard takes time depending on the spell level. For the wizard, it's 10 minutes per spell level? So if you're memorizing a 9th level spell, it takes 90 minutes. But just like the wizard, they're there until you use them. So if you have a 7th level spell, you got to pray for 70 minutes, perhaps. I forget if it's exactly the same. But
that's what it is for wizard, yes.
Yeah, you have to pray for a certain amount of time, but until you use that spell, you have it.
Yeah, I was of the school of thought, and I know this is a house rule, and this breaks priests even more, that they use the spell that they need at that time. I was taught that by a dungeon master that I had in junior high. I'm sorry, senior high, because I didn't start playing D&D again until senior high. Senior high, I really liked the way it felt. It also seemed like it fell in line with the Dragonlance novels that I was reading at the time. I know it's not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
But I really liked that mentality. And then how you translated that over is you simply had to pray to get the slot back. You didn't pray for a spell. You prayed to get the slot back. So if you used a 3rd level slot, you had to pray for 30 minutes just to get that energy
slot
or that
reopen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's fair.
Well, just so you know, that
as
makes
long as
clerics
you have to
even
take
more
out
powerful.
time every day to frickin' pray to fill
Yes,
those
yes.
slots, then you're not actually cheating. But having any third level spell available to you at any time, that is super OP.
Yeah, it is. It is the idea for that. I think can stem from the fact that a lot of times clerics are only allowed to be heal bots, and you might want your cleric to do more. So the party demands just heal, heal, heal. Try that with me, and you're gonna never be healed a single time in an adventure. We all died because you didn't heal. I know, because none of you stood in my protection of evil or accepted my aid spell. Things like
So
that.
you got
Like,
hurt.
yeah. So like I don't play heal bots. I do keep a heal spell, but I don't play heal bots. I think that's where his mentality was. We have long since. I haven't talked to him since I was in the Air Force, so I wouldn't even know how to ask him right now what his thought. But I just kept that going, and it worked for my games. And if it works for yours,
Okay.
but be careful. Heathen Dog is right. That will even make the cleric more OP, because you basically just handed him the player's handbook. He still has to pick the spells within his spheres, but you basically hand him the player's handbook and say whatever you need at that time. My additional rule was you're not looking up the spell. And what I mean by that is, like, if you know what the spell does, great. If you need to look through the book to find the spell, I don't have a problem with that. But if you're like, hold on, I got to see what it does. Nope. Next
Nope.
person's turn.
Sorry. Next.
Yeah. So,
You better,
okay.
yeah. So you have more power, but you also have more responsibility.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Can I full screen that there? Yeah. Share. By the way, I don't know where we are right now. I just want to remind folks, if we do make $100 in Super Chats or Rumble Rants, there will be a giveaway. I don't know if we've crossed the threshold yet. I know we got a $50 Super Chat. We're probably getting close, but I'll look in a second here to let you guys know.
We're at exactly 105, 125, 130. Yeah, we're at 130.
All right. Well, I'll just see what YouTube tells me. Then I can just... That's you. Where's me? There's me. YouTube tells me we've made 130. You're right. Boom. So there will be a giveaway today. All right, for segment 2 today, I'm going to be doing 3 videos on the Rifter number 22. And I'm going to be upfront with you. I think Heathen Dog and all the Rifters that he did found one bad one. If I remember correctly, it was just one.
Yep.
That was bad. I found the second one. I won't go so far as to say it's bad, but this one was a little harder for me to get through than I'd hoped, and there was a lot less interesting in here than I would have liked. General principle, and we'll get to that. Actually, we'll get to that right now, since this is the overview of the table of contents. All right. So, and yeah, we had a comment out there. Somebody said, all you're doing is just going through the contents. Yes, that's what this one is. This video right here is for you to determine if this Rifter is for you or not. Then the next 2 videos after this one are to dive into a couple things we may have found interesting. But this is literally right now just to give you the table of contents so that you're like, oh, crap, I actually always wanted to figure out how to do that. Thank you. And then you go buy the Rifter. So, all right. And we're not going to talk about that cover art. So here are the contents. We got some art, as normal. Okay. From the desk of Kevin Simbita. This one was, so the Gulf War, the second Gulf War just started. Now, this came out in April of 2003. Now, I don't know how Palladium did their magazines. So I don't know if April 2003 meant it was printed in April and it got shipped in May, or if it meant that it was shipped to you in April. The reason that matters to me is because this is around the time I went to Kuwait. I worked in Kuwait as a contractor for a year, and I went there right at the beginning of May of 2003, and I was there until May 2004. So I know very much about what he's talking about. You could read between the lines pretty easily and find out where Kevin's sympathies were when it came to the war. But he did not directly offend either warmongers or peaceniks at the same time. So, typical Kevin fashion. He stayed on the fence, but believe me, you read it, you get it. But I think that struck a tone in a lot of what happened in this Rifter as well. So he'll be at Origins, coming attractions, things that are coming up. I've just kind of decided that All this stuff is 20 years old, 23 years old now. So, you know, Chaos Earth. Hey, look at that. You missed last issue. Well, here's more information on Chaos Earth. Questions and answers. We're going to talk about this. So questions and answers in this one are all, or at least most of them, I think all of them are about children in the Palladium universe. Do you give mom implants to kids? How much, basically how kids handle PPE and what skills and so forth. So we're gonna talk about what age can kids get cybernetics? That's what we're going to be talking about. I always like the idea of giving a kid at like age 4 a cyber arm, so that when he's like 20, he looks like a Tyrannosaurus in one arm, and then the other one's normal. Page 17, Mage Armor. It is a 1-page deal. I think that Kevin was just trying to fill up 1 page of space or something. I don't know, but it's some Mage Armor. There you go. It's got the stats for it and so forth. So if you want, mega damage Mage Armor.
Wait, is that regular armor or is it magically enhanced or magically created?
I know it's mega damage. I don't remember. Here, let me get the picture. It's page 17. Okay, why don't I just type in 17?
I don't know.
Probably 18. There you go. That's it right there. And the stats. It's just MDC. Excellent, very good. Okay, magic enhanced. As many as 3 additional Techno Wizard magic features can be added, like breathe without air. It increases the cost by tens to hundreds of thousands of credits, so most don't have them.
Okay. All right, it's just a armor that's targeted specifically to be sold to mages. Okay.
Building a better super soldier, and this is what I'm going to have Heathen Dog roll up for the 3rd video. We're not going to talk about there.
The ludicrous mage. He's gone to plaid.
Yeah, we're not going to. Clown shoes. It's all clown shoes. This stuff belongs in Rifter 9.5. Oh, look at that. It says it right there.
Rifter 9.5, yeah.
Hold on. Before you agree with me. Uh-oh. This publication did come out in April. So I understand the yes. Remember, these were quarterly back then. So I understand. Okay, let's rehash the 9.5 and so forth. Okay, fine. So if this was not an April issue of the book, I would be, come on, really? Are you just fishing for pages here? But since it's an April edition of the book, have a little fun, add to your 9.5, and have some jokes. And then here's the big one. And I was shooting a message to Heathen Dog yesterday about this. I wanted to cover this one. But this is so huge. Look, it goes from 47 to 62, and it's formations and charts and army building and so forth. I would have had to have read every page, every paragraph of this for you to get the understanding, or not understand, but to do justice, because it is dense. But if you want armies, if you want 600 people versus 1,000 people skirmishes in your Palladium fantasy game, here are the rules for you. I can't tell you if they're well done or not in terms of does it fit the game and so forth, because I've never run this type of, to be fair, I've never run Palladium fantasy. But I can tell you that they're well thought out. And I can tell you that if you are looking for something skirmish, army based, not just adventure party based, you're not going to go wrong with these, with at least how they're presented to me. Okay. Palladium Fantasy finish. Oh my God, Flashing Blades. It's fencing, and I didn't really care. I didn't think it was important enough to cover. But if you want fencing rules and you want to know the cultural impact of fencing and why you'd have rapiers and other swords, yada yada, there you go. Flynn and Company is a short story. I think I think Kevin was like running out of pages or something, or not running out. Just need to fill up pages because he's got multiple short stories in this one. This is one. I didn't read it. I don't read the short stories, sorry. Here's some of the games Palladium plays. Now, this is a misnomer. I was like, oh, games. Okay, what are the games you play, or how do you run your games? Nope. This is literally just Wayne talking about his character concept for one of his favorite characters.
That's it? Oh, man.
Yeah. It was like, imagine if you, for Barton, right, from our Earthdawn game, decided that you wanted to write in text here his background story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
All
don't
right.
see why anyone would care, but all right.
Me too. That's where I am as well. Remember, you and Garthon years ago did an episode. No one cares about your character. I remember that one where it's like
Yeah.
you guys were talking about how people like my character. Nobody cares. I'm not in the game with you. If I'm not in the game with you, your character means nothing to me. And I remember that video that you guys did, or the segment that you guys did, and I thought it was funny. But that's kind of what this was. It goes a little bit into the thought process behind the skills and so forth, but it's not character creation like this is why I picked this skill and this. No, it is the background. Like at age 16, she's an Irish chick with IQ of like 29 or something. I don't know how you did that, but okay. You know, I don't care. Like I don't care who she met at age 15. Not for something. I want stuff that's going to give me things I can use to play a game. And unless the idea is to, well, this is how you make a character concept, I could grudgingly accept that. Maybe I should just say this wasn't for me. But when you say games played in plays, you had me all excited thinking about talking about Game Talk or other games or something that I thought was interesting. No, is just the background of your character.
Lame.
Risk Phase World Hammer the Forge. Guess what I didn't do?
Read it.
Chapter 22.
Yep.
And there you go. That's it for this book. I don't know,
It's not
man.
blowing up my skirt.
Yeah, it's not. It certainly did not blow up my skirt either. Now, let's be honest. The Rifters are fantastic magazines. They're going to have a dud every now and again.
Yeah, they all can't be winners, man.
Right. For my money, this one's the dud. Now we'll find out in the next two videos. Maybe you absolutely love that super soldier, and I gotta sell it a little bit more. This medieval army combat rules. If you're running Palladium Fantasy and you want to do larger scale combat, unless there's another resource out there and another Rifter or another publication or something, this is some stuff you need to look at. But I honestly almost didn't even do the questions and answers, except for the only other reasonable one in here, because as Heathen Dog knows, the column's the theme of children.
He loves exploiting children and animals. That's his biggest thing. He loves it.
Yeah.
Loves it.
I despise what I've called since 1987 or 88. I despise the Wesley Crusher syndrome. I think kids belong in worlds, but I don't like the Wesley Crusher syndrome. Ender's Game is the only movie, book, TV show, or whatever that's ever gotten a pass from me, only because the entire concept of that was finding the best of the best, and there's a whole background of how they weeded out all the weirdos.
Yeah. I mean, for Wesley Crusher, he just happened to be in the right place at the right time. You know, I'm the greatest super genius child in the Federation, and I happen to be on the flagship. Well, lucky you. But in Ender's Game, he searched the entire planet. Yeah, search the entire planet for the best kids possible. Put them all together. That makes sense. Everyone knows why you're here, how you got here. It's not luck. It was purposefully.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all I've got. I mean, I don't know how long this is supposed to be, but that's all you're going to get from me. So,
that's fine. That's fine.
We're going to move into the next video. The next one is going to be the Q&A about the children. And it does actually answer questions about, do you give kids mom implants? I love the answer, by the way. If my child is 8 years old, can I put things in his brain to make him nuts?
Yes.
Yes, you can. But can and should, and that's where we'll get into the
answer.
Okay,
now we're asking two different questions.
Yeah, right. And then remember, the third video is going to be Heathen Dog's going to help me create a super soldier, and we're going to talk about maybe there's already a publication out there that serves this need, or maybe it'll be some great rules for you. But until then, please like, subscribe, and share. Do you like this, or do you own this Rifter? Do you like it? Am I wrong? And I know I'm not wrong about ludicrous magic, so don't even talk about that one. But am I wrong about the other? Is fencing something that's important in your game? Do you play those heavy role playing games where that kind of cultural requirement is necessary? I mean, they had the mime skill, right? In one of the setting books, so maybe that's important. You let me know. Put it in the comments. Otherwise, I'll just see you in the next video. Okay, so we got 2 more segments left, Brave the Night. So the way we do things, for anybody new here, the way we do things is because I cut these into videos later, and because I'm very lazy. Actually, I have a full-time job, a life, and a wife full-time job, life, wife, and a book that I'm writing. I'm not writing my wife, I'm writing a book. I don't take time to edit videos in and out. So what we do here in the live streams is we just do them like 5 or 6 different videos, and then I spread them out throughout the week. So that's lazy. Okay.
Yes. It's also
We're
efficient.
smarter, not harder. Heathen Dog knows I put a lot of work throughout the week, especially when I'm not doing all this other stuff, into the channel and so forth. Like, he knows how I used to beat him and Garthon up when it came to that stuff. So there's a lot of hours that still goes into this behind the scenes. I just try to do it in the most effective way that I can. So, but welcome. So we got 2 more segments, and I hope you enjoy them. All right. For our second video in segment 2, our second topic, is that what I want to call it? Our second topic? We went over the overview, and if somehow that didn't make you bypass all the videos, skip this Rifter and go right on to Rifter 23 whenever that one's done. We're now going to talk about the question and answer. The question and answer is focusing on kids in the Palladium Megaverse. Again, the 2 that I harp on is because it asks about cybernetics and mom implants. If you don't know what mom implants are, that's for riffs. Basically, you put metal electronics inside somebody's brain to, activate the full potential of the brain and give them more power. That's what you want to do to your 8-year-old. That is not child abuse at all. You know what? You want your kid to have a better life than you, and the only way you can do that is by increasing his strength, increasing his dexterity, maybe giving him a psychic power, and
having him slowly go insane.
There's that too.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
All right. With that, let's get into our Q&A about the children. What about the children? What page is this one on? What's that?
Brave the Night, $10. Thank you very much. On and off viewer, as I can mostly Palladium content, but please keep it up. I absolutely love you guys. Listen to you a lot at work. Please keep up the good work. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No, really do appreciate that. I was saying at the beginning of this live stream, it won't be on video except for now that I'm saying it now. Well, I'm looking for this page. 17, right? 18. No, that's you. Where's the Q&A? Question 14. Is that this is kind of the doldrums time for most YouTubers. The summer is kind of the summer lull. So a lot of YouTubers are like, oh my God, my life sucks. My channel's going to hell, blah, blah, blah. They just got to tough through it. I hate to say it that way. You just got to tough through it. So any nice comment like that you can give to us or to any other YouTuber that you like, do so. It'll help them get through, the next couple of months of low numbers and wondering if they've destroyed their channel. So thank you, Brave the Night. All right. Heathen Dog, you ready for these questions?
I love it. I want it.
Oh, by the way, also, because we get some of these, I don't know if it's going to happen today. It probably will. Heathen Dog and I get a lot of flack over the fact they'll be like, that's a stupid question. Yes. And if you want to make a comment about, you're so judgmental. Yes.
Yeah. Anyone who told you there's no such thing as a stupid question lied to you.
Right. There's one time when there's no stupid question. And that's when you're brainstorming, because what is the whole point of brainstorming?
Eliminate the dumb crap.
Yeah, right there. So, yeah, and now, are we a bit hyperbolic about it? Of course. Some of what we do here is entertainment. But usually when we say it's stupid, it's because just make a ruling. Why is this such a big deal? I can't remember what one of them was. But one was like, how fast can you swim wearing full plate mail armor while underwater we're holding a bag of rocks? Like, what? That's not a question. Stop it.
I would just have you die because you're too dumb.
Right.
You Darwined yourself on that one. But anyway, okay, let's go.
Okay. All right, Heathen Dog. I noticed that children have a naturally high level of PPE and are more open to the supernatural. My question is, can they also use techno-wizard devices? I'm not even gonna look. Yes, because that's what techno-wizard devices are for. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
They can use techno-wizard devices and can even be taught how to fuel them, providing they have enough PPE. I hate this answer. I hate it with a passion.
Why is that?
Because it requires the children to know how to focus and transfer their PPE into the device, and that should be only for spellcasters and psionics. who already know how to do that.
So would you be more approving of an answer that said, and if magically inclined be taught how to fuel them?
Yes, if you are a leveled spellcaster or psionic, no matter what age you are able to fuel this. But yeah, kids have more PPE, great, but they can't use it because they don't know how. So no, I hate this answer. I hate it. It's wrong. It's
I love
objectively wrong.
Yes, we are now. Hey, Riffs Africa, baby. Just saying.
Yep.
Sorry. How many people are looking to play as kids in a Riffs game? Look, people play kids in all types of stuff. Like the Alien RPG has that as a core character class, just as an example. So
no, in Chaos Earth, they have the first rules for children spellcasters, because in Chaos Earth, magic was higher than in normal Rifts. It was right after the explosion of the Rifts. Magic was much higher. Even people not trained could use spells subconsciously or unconsciously. And a lot of these people were kids. So it gave rules for that. But current day Rifts, no, you have to be trained.
Okay. Hopefully my noise gate is working. Apparently my neighbors are mowing their yard right now.
Yep, we can't hear a thing.
Okay, good. At what point do children lose their natural magical abilities, like the ability to use Techno-Wizard items? Wait, stop. Didn't we just... I'm confused now.
Why?
So they can... I thought Techno-Wizard items could be used by anybody.
No.
No, okay, no. Actually, my answer... I understand why you agreed with me, but actually my answer for that previous question was wrong. I was misreading that. I was going back to what we talked about a couple weeks ago with that whole rifle thing. You just replaced the Techno-Wizard E-clip with the regular E-clip, but guess what? That regular E-clip is no longer a Techno-Wizard item. So yep. I get it now. So going back to this, now I'm even more in agreement with that, with Heathen Dog saying WTF, because
you have to charge it. And a child isn't going to know how to push his PPE or ISP into a specific item. He's not going to know how to do that.
But why would a child be able to use a Techno-Wizard item, even if taught how to push that PPE? But let's say he's not magically inclined. Why would he be able to do?
Then he can't do it. Only the magically trained can move their PPE where they want to move it. That's
I understand.
That's how you learn how to do that.
Right. Everything Heathen Dog said, I understand. Everything this article is saying, I'm kind of confused on. So once taught how to use a Techno-Wizard device and how to direct one's natural PPE into a Techno-Wizard device, so there's a two-step process there.
Yeah, and then guess what? You're a wizard now.
The individual can do so for the rest of his life. However, the individual may not have sufficient PPE to use all or even most Techno-Wizard items once he becomes an adult. Generally, children lose their magical aptitude when they go through puberty. For humans, that's between the ages of 12 to 15. Well, that's messed with me in the early 2000s, because now it's like 7 to 10 if you...
I know.
It's weird. Let's see, during this time, most children see their PPE drop by 10%, and each year, 40% total. Wow, 10% each and every year. Wow. At ages 16 to 20, PPE levels out and remains constant until age 21, when it drops again, because, once you turn 21, you can legally drink. You drink all the PPE away.
Yep.
All right. I'm not going to read the rest of that because you've got it, unless you really feel that that's... Well, no, actually, I think this paragraph's important. Those who don't pursue an occupation practitioner of magic but are lucky enough to retain a high PPE reserve are able to continue to use Techno-Wizard items and other magical devices that require the user to pump in his own PPE for activation, but only if the character has sufficient PPE to do so. Does that conform with what you were thinking?
No, I'm also saying that without being a practitioner of magic, you can't pump PPE anywhere, but if you got lucky and all those percentage loss rolls were low, you rolled low numbers and you have more than 10 still when you're an adult, then if you learned how to do it as a kid, you can still do it as an adult because you have enough left. But it goes right back to the basic idea that an untrained child can do it at all, which I disagree with completely.
Okay.
So it's all
by the way,
based on
folks,
that.
Remember, I'm not the Rifts guy. I do After the Bomb and Robotech. Okay, so a lot of these questions to me, sometimes they seem to make sense, sometimes they seem to don't. That's why he's the Rifts guy, and also our community and chat right there with all the Rifts answers. So nobody ever asks after the bomb questions, though.
Yeah, it's weird. You know why? Either no one plays it or the rules
Oh,
are very easy to understand.
well, I'm good with number 2.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, you can read the rest of that. It's pretty big on the screen there. So let's move on to the next question. No. Okay. At what age is a character considered adult in Palladium Fantasy?
Well, it depends on the race, I imagine.
Well, that's a long answer, and I think generally this varies by race and location throughout the Palladium world, but with many rural cultures, it's when the child is considered old enough by the rest of the community to pull their own weight. Uh-oh. In urban
Generally
areas,
16 or 17, bull crap. This is Palladium Fantasy. A farmer in Palladium Fantasy starts farming at 12.
well,
And,
let
and
me
then
double
as soon as puberty hits, like 12, 13, 14, he's baling hay. Baling hay.
Well, I was baling hay, yeah. I was baling hay earlier than that. But yes, here's the thing. I think that most of these games, not just Palladium, try to have more modern sensibilities because they get into that PDF file word that makes people feel really uncomfortable. But when you look at history, first things first. At what age does a Jewish child go through the bat mitzvah?
Was it 13?
I thought it was 12, but it might be 13. Either way, that's still earlier than 16 or 17, right?
Yeah. And culturally, he's considered a man.
Yes.
She's considered a woman.
What age were a lot of girls arranged?
Oh,
now, I know you could argue that it goes as you could argue that it goes even birth and so forth, but most of them were very, very tweens, I think they call it now. That not quite teenage, but
11, 12.
Yeah. That's adulthood. Is it appropriate? Well, maybe not for 2025, but yeah.
For back then, yeah, you had to pump out as many babies as possible. You got to start early.
And I honestly, I don't care if a game says, whoa, adulthood is 18. That's what we're used to now. I don't care unless the game's touting itself as historically accurate. And guess what Palladium doesn't do?
Tout itself as historically anything.
Right. So if you want to say 16 or 17, I don't have a problem with that. Next is in urban areas, the age one is considered a man is generally higher, as those undergoing apprenticeships are not considered adults, or at least not completely productive citizens. Apprenticeships generally start between ages of 12 to 15 and ends between 18 to 21 in most crafts. I think that lines up with history too, but somebody out there who's more of a historian can correct me on that. In many tribal situations, a child is not considered a man until he's gone through a rite of passage. I've just recently been exposed to one that's really gross that I'm not going to say. That's a real world one that still goes on today. In more cultured, I'll talk to people on the stream about that, not in the video, if they remind me. In more cultured societies, this could be a simple ritual and a big excuse for a community celebration. So it could include dangerous hunts, like that of Emran clan of Kankaran, whose rite of passage is for a pair of young Kankaran to hunt down and kill an Emran. All those words mean nothing to me.
Yep. I don't know what that but I did read about a tribe in Africa somewhere that they use bullet ants. Is it Africa or South America? I forget which one. But they use bullet ants, and to pass the trial to be a man, you have to be bitten by a bullet ant, not move, not scream, not cry for like a minute.
I'd cry looking at it.
I know. I did.
Did you?
I saw the documentary. I was like, God damn. No, it's you know how guys see another guy getting kicked in the crotch and go, because they kind of feel it a little bit. I saw that bullet ant hit this kid, and he was a kid, and him trying not to move, and I'm like, God damn, I feel that. I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, and Kokushuko, yes, you're right. You know which one I'm talking about. We're not gonna bring it up on the video portion of this though. So, where are we here? As for drinking age and other social or cultural activities, once a child has come of age, it is considered perfectly acceptable no matter what his age, and in some societies may be acceptable to those who are still considered children. Yeah, French and Germans have wine at the table. So
it's watered down, but, still drink it.
I think it's called a Radler in Germany, if I remember correctly. But I might be mistaken with that. I lived there 11 years, and I don't remember any of the terms.
Remember nothing.
But modern West, I'm not going to go through this. It gives you the idea of what to consider. It says even in the real world, drinking age varies. While drinking in most United States 21, some parts of the world it's only 18 or non-existent. So, all right, here we go. What is the minimum age for a character to receive bionic or cybernetic augmentation? Technically, none. There you go. You don't even need the rest after.
Nope, you don't. The rest of these words are just taking up space.
Just filler. Cybernetic implants can be implanted at any age. In fact, most city rats are teenagers, commonly ranging in age from 12 to 19. Artificial prosthetics and internal organs can be fitted to children of any age, though they may need to be modified and surgically replaced at regular intervals to adjust for the child's growth. No! I said before, I'll say it again. I want the kid that got it at age 4, has a full-size arm here, and has a Tyrannosaurus Rex arm over here. Sucks to be you. You know what? We spent the entire family budget on that, and we didn't save for later. Bionic augmentation on the young, unless a total full conversion is done. Unless it is not. Okay, I gotta read. This guy's writing is a little hard for me to read. Bionic augmentation on the young, unless total full conversion is done, is not suggested until one reaches adulthood or close to it, say ages 16 to 21.
However, who the hell is going to full conversion a kid? Dude, oh my God, the rampant insanities that will ensue is
Do we
crazy.
Need to talk about what's been going on for the last 10 years in Western society?
Yep. Full conversion tranny. Yep. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Doing a full conversion cyborg to a kid, they're never going to go through puberty because puberty is a physical response, and you took away their sex organs, so they're never going to be an adult, not a real adult. You're going to be a bunch of Neverland zombies. That's what you're going to have.
Juicer hormones will fix all that.
Juicer hormones. Remember, you are only a brain, a spinal cord, and maybe a lung. That's all you got left when a full conversion happens. So I'm sorry, man. You're just screwed.
Beautifully metal. However, while bionic conversions and serious augmentation is not recommended for teenagers, not recommended. we prefer you don't do that. All it may do is stunt the character's growth or make him look disproportionate as flesh and blood parts of his body may outgrow the mechanical ones. It's on the emotional level, hidden beneath the tough metal exterior, where the potential trouble lurks for young cyborgs. And again, I'm not trying to be culturally, to do culture warrior stuff here, socio-political right now. But yes, this is what we're seeing right now. So you can look at the real world. How many people are on Xanax and Ritalin and Adderall and puberty blockers and whatever the heck else they're taking over nonsense of trying to become a Borg? That's right. That's what they're doing. That's my story. I'm living in the world where they're all trying to become Borgs. Nor are they able to handle the raw power that comes with being a partial or full conversion cyborg. Teen Borgs. Sounds like a TV
Borg.
show.
There it is. That's a comic book team right there.
Yeah. Teen
Titans suck. Teen Borgs. That's where it's at.
Teen Borgs tend to be cocky, reckless, and aggressive. Well, yeah, because you completely jacked up their hormones. Many become bullies and thugs. Again, they're trying to find their way in they're in the social landscape of teenage years, and you just gave them infinite power.
I know, right? I mean, power that before that would be indescribable to them, and now they have it.
I was pushed over in the porta potty. If there's a Teen Borg around, he'd have lifted that thing up and shook it.
Yep.
Oh, man. See, many become bullies and thugs who use their bionics to intimidate, threaten, and hurt others to get their way or to impress chicks. I just know that's what it's going to say.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
Oh, those around them, chicks.
Oh, chicks. Yeah, that's all that matters. Well, for the teenage Borgs, yeah, that's all that matters.
The youth is already going through a rough time making the transition from child to adult. He's still searching for his place in the world and trying to prove himself as an individual. I'm not going to read the rest of this, but here's the serious part of this. I'm actually glad, even though we're kind of making light of this, this is true, and I think this is a lot of times things that people don't think about. If you're going to do something that is crazy, there's probably a reason why it's crazy. And more often than not, you can't put it into game numbers because it's psychological or it's emotional. And that has to be role played.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you wanted to make a child cyborg or put mom implants in an 8-year-old and you want to play that 8-year-old, I might let you do it. But it's not going to be what you're picturing. You are going to have more insanities more often because your brain is not just forming, it's forming under duress. So you're going to get a lot more problems than the normal crazy or the normal Borg. It's going to be bad.
I'm going to star a couple comments. There we go. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay. There we go. This is the one everybody's with. I want my kid to be a juicer.
Oh, God.
What kind of parenting is that?
Man?
All right. What about mom or juicer augmentation? Can they be done on a child? First things first. I understand it's a game, but what the hell is wrong with you?
Seriously, man. I mean, like, I wonder what dog shit tastes like. No, I don't. No, I don't.
So
I'll go my entire life not knowing, and I'll die happy.
I can understand the augmentation, the bionic augmentation, especially if your character has a background of, hey, got your 3rd-degree burns in a fire or something, or so again, some sort of horribly injured birth defect, whatever. But mom and crazy or mom and juicer?
That's a different thing. That is like I want my child to, for the next 2 to 6 years, be great, and after that, die or go irrevocably insane.
I didn't like this kid anyway.
Yeah, I didn't like him anyway. I got another one.
That's what you do with the problematic children.
Yeah.
Chop. Okay, so can you do it? In theory, but highly dangerous for anyone under the age of 16. The process kills 70 plus 1d6 of all subjects under the age of 16. Oh, well, Look at that. It's only 70 plus 1d6, so 75% we'll just say because nice, so 3/4 of kids under the age of 16?
Just die.
And those who survive, 80+% are seriously deranged.
Yep.
Again,
I get that.
The problem is emotional maturity. The mom surgery itself takes a heavy toll on the developing brain, while the chemical bombardment on the undeveloped body of a teen child sends it into trauma and convulsions. You turn into David Duchovny. Then the newfound power and abilities are more than most adults can handle. Besides, unlike...
Yeah, a juicer tantrum is a lot worse than a regular tantrum.
Well, if dad's a Borg, maybe,
maybe he'll be fine then, but still.
Unlike cybernetics and bionics, which have medicinal application, mom conversions and juicer augmentation have only one purpose: physical augmentation for the explicit purpose of war. Well, here we go. We're back to the African.
No, I need my son to be a juicer so he can bale more hay. Faster and better. That's the only way our family will survive. And years from now, we'll miss him.
Juicer augmentation is especially morally questionable, since the process ultimately kills everyone who receives it within 10 years. And even if one undergoes detox before death, the emotional and physical toll is more than most people can survive. Look, if I'm 30 years old and I go through the juicer stuff and I try to detox, chances are it's not going to happen, but it's going to be hell. But just imagine it's all you knew. This is like, crack baby sort of stuff, right? Imagine it's all you know. You started taking hard drugs at age 12. You're never going to be right. Never.
No.
Why would you want to do this as a player character? What weird, sick fantasy? And believe me, I played a lot of weird, sick characters, necromancers and so forth. What kind of weird, sick fantasy are you trying to live to do this?
Okay, hang on. There was one player who tried to game the system using juicer augmentation as a child. Now, there are rules in Palladium for adjusting stats with age. The younger you are, the less strong you are. Blah blah. You have like a strength of 5 or 8 or whatever, physical prowess of 5 or 8, something like that. But if you become a juicer and then immediately detox, if you started with low stats, they get bumped up to 10 to 12 after the detox process.
Oh.
So you started with 5s and 8s. Now you've got 10s and 12s. And then you add on all the skills, and then age, and then aging up will make you stronger and faster as well from the natural aging, according to the rules of the book. I would never do that, but according to the rules of the book, you can still get better by going from a young adult to an adult. You get stronger, you get faster, you get more durable. Top that with the baseline boost you get from formerly being a juicer. It can add up to some nice numbers. I never allow it. It's ridiculous. But technically, just like I said, technically, yes. Technically, you can do it.
Maybe Heathen Dog's a little more right than I want to give him credit. I even though it's just a game, the exploitation of children and animals, and actually the elderly too, but that never comes up, really irks the crap out of me. All right. Here we go. At what age do most psionic powers and special abilities develop?
Puberty.
Well,
next.
What's that?
Puberty. Next.
Well, it says this can vary widely. Very widely. Okay, that just sounds funny to me. Very widely. Okay, from individual to individual. There are children under the age of 12 who exhibit psychic abilities or unique powers. However, most people do not begin to exhibit special abilities until, oh wait, what was the Heathen Dog?
Puberty.
12 to 17. 1d6 plus 11. It's a weird math. Okay. Why most natural abilities don't awake until puberty is unknown, but probably has to do with natural physiological changes that occur during this time of physical change. By the way, this reminded me of something totally off topic here, but if you make a comment and it's like, I don't know, 2027, you think I remember reading this? And you're like, oh, that math makes perfect sense. I'm just going to bypass your comment like it didn't happen. Timestamp it. I just, this last 2 weeks, I've had so many comments from older videos. That's not true. It would actually be, I don't know what you're talking about. And you didn't timestamp it, so I can't reference it. And I'm not watching an entire one of my videos that I've covered like to find out what you were talking about. All right, this one's important for Heathen Dog, as he does his recruitment duties.
All right.
What is the enlistment age for the coalition states military?
16.
16. Though those born in the wilderness and burbs may be able to enlist earlier if they look old enough. You know, it's like World War II. You know, people
it's like you just say you're 18, right? When you're actually 13. But you grew up on a farm, so physically you look 18. So they're like, okay. They're not going to check too hard, right?
They breed them good out there, don't they?
Yeah.
All right, in my campaign, several of the characters are female. Are there any rules for... Are there any rules for pregnancy?
Why, dude? Why? Why even
Stupid
bother
question.
with that? There's no reason to have sex ed in your game. There isn't. Stop it.
I don't have a problem with a character becoming pregnant, but why do you need a rule for it? Either happens or it doesn't. It's what is beneficial, or what does the player want and what does the game master want? Does the player want the character to be pregnant? The game master says, I don't want to deal with this crap. Well, then no. Does the player want the character to get pregnant and the game master's okay with it? Then yes.
Then it just happens. Or the character is being a whore and the game master wants to put a stop to that, but can't tell you stop being a whore. Gets you pregnant. Ha ha. Roe v. Wade's a long way away.
I'm going to read this paragraph, though, because more games need this paragraph. Remember, while different species may copulate and enjoy sex, two completely different species, gross, cannot reproduce and bear offspring. No half Vulcans, no half Klingons, no half elves. No half orcs. Thank God. We're moving on.
Oh, here it says humans, true Atlanteans, Psy Stalkers, and ogres are fundamentally the small species that can reproduce, but a human and a Katani or a human and a goblin or a dragon or whatever cannot. I don't know about ogres, man. I hate half ogres. It's like,
yeah, Palladium handles ogres a little differently, though, don't they?
Tell me you have a broken home without telling me you have a broken home. Say you're half ogre.
No, it's half orc. I'm going to bring that shirt back. You keep bringing it up. Okay. If a group of children attacked an adult, which you know that they would do, especially, Lord of the Flies, right?
Yep.
What would be their damage from hand-to-hand strikes and kicks?
Okay.
Children from about 6 to 15 inflict half damage from punches and kicks, have only 1 or 2 attacks actions per melee round, and probably don't have skills or attributes high enough to provide any combat bonuses. I'm torn on this question. Part of me wants to say it's a stupid question. Part of me is like, yeah, okay, I mean, I get it, but
this is situational. I mean, Children of the Corn type stuff happens. Okay.
Why can't game masters just make a reasonable ruling?
I don't know.
Where can one find
16 up inflict full damage? I get it. They have puberty strength now, so okay. Yeah, I mean that's fine. This is fine. This is a fine question. I'm okay with it.
Where can one find stats or any rules for children? Statistics for children can be found in Heroes Unlimited GM's Guide, Beyond the Supernatural, first edition. Apparently, no official rules for playing children as characters. Thank you, except for the victim rules found in the first edition of Beyond the Supernatural. They're not fully developed. Okay, so characters as young as 15 can be played as normal characters, but anything younger will need an abridged OCC or may not even have an OCC at all. Plus, as noted in the answer to the previous question, they are less physically strong. They are not fully developed, so attribute dice rolls should be less for youngsters. 1d4 for children under the age of 6, 2d4 for kids 7 to 10, 2d6 for ages 11 to 15, and normal for 16 or older. That's a big gap between 15 and 16, but okay. There's a lot. I'm going to get it. There's a lot of growth in there. When did I hit my growth spurt?
I hit mine at 14.
You think mine was 15?
Yeah, I grew like 3.5 inches in 2 months. I still have the scars on my skin from where it's stretched.
Oh, did you got the stretch mark? I didn't.
Stretch marks on both sides of both of my knees.
There's a kid that when I was in Lutheran school and Sunday school and so forth, one year he was a short, fat kid. The next year, and I'm telling you, remember, Sunday school is just as long as the school year, so we're only talking a 3-month difference.
Mm-hmm.
We do the next year, which I think was 6th grade or whatever. I was like, who's the new guy? I'm telling you, he grew like 6 inches, lost all the weight and so forth. They're like, that's Tom. What? Like, okay, that didn't happen to me. I was more gradual, but I did have a little mini one. I think I was 15 when I got when I got my driver's license, I was 5'0", and by the time that I actually was measured for the football team, I was like 5'4" or something. It was weird. Anyway, all right. What about non-human children? There are no rules for non-human children printed. Some RCC descriptions may provide my God. I'm sorry for being this way, folks. If you're watching the video like, oh my God, not taking it seriously, it's because
these are not questions that are going to be common. These are niche questions that are going to come up once every 100 games.
And should be just simply adjudicated by a rational game master.
Yeah, adjudicated by the game master at the moment is fine. These don't need, concrete rules.
Do children have any special abilities or bonuses that are not in adults? Now, this one's kind of interesting.
Yeah, generally,
do kids, other than PPE, do kids have anything that humans? Yeah, do kids have things that humans don't have? Children generally have no special abilities or bonuses, but their childlike innocence and lack of life experience may make them more open to the supernatural and magic than adults. So that's thematic, not a rule. Right. As well as being more receptive to new ideas and deception. Dude, my mom could trick me with gullible's not in the dictionary. I was the most gullible. It's probably why I'm so skeptical now that I don't trust anybody or anything ever.
Because your mom lied to you so many times growing up, it formed a core memory.
wasn't my mom. No, my mom used to get mad at me for being so gullible. That's why she'd say, gullible's not in the dictionary, right? Yes, it is. like, but I was a crazy gullible kid, so I can understand that. Also, as noted previously, human children and the young of most intelligent beings possess 3 to 5 times greater amount of PPE. So kill them and suck it up while you can.
Yep. Oh, also they are more open to the supernatural. So in Beyond the Supernatural, especially, they'll be able to, if not see ghosts, feel them when they're around.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, just because they're kids.
I see dead people.
Yes.
I'm setting up an adventure where an evil wizard is to sacrifice infants to gain PPE. Now you're talking.
Why are you? All right. Sorry. Go on.
He's evil. I'm okay. I'm okay with this, but I also run darker games. How much PPE does an infant have? Human infants start off with 4d6 to 5d6 PPE. The only reason I don't like this question, Heathen Dog can correct me on this one. Isn't this written in the book? I thought this was. I thought these rules were in the book.
For kids, I don't know if it's specifically infants, but
fair. Okay, fair.
it starts with children, not infants, which is
That's
different.
fair. I would just treat infants as children. But okay, you're asking the question here. So 46 to 5d6 PPE. Some non-human races may have even higher amounts of PPE for their infants. Question for you, Heathen Dog.
Yep.
When I do something like this, I don't pay attention to PPE costs because I don't care. What I do is I say it's going to take him 5 rounds to summon all the energy he needs to cast the ritual spell. The players have 7. The player characters have 7 rounds, or whatever rounds, right?
Whatever number of rounds to fix this action.
Yeah, I don't do it by a specific PPE number.
Yeah, here's the thing why this doesn't matter. Again, because number one, sacrificial magic is only used by evil NPCs. If it actually says in the book, player characters can't do it. It's only for NPCs. And if so,
he does say here, evil wizard is sacrificing infant.
Yeah, I know it says evil wizard is sacrificing, but it also says in the book that you can't use sacrifice magic if you're a player character. It's stupid. But that also means that only an NPC is doing it. It's an event. It can happen however quickly or slowly that the game master wants it to happen. Yep. That's it. So there's no point in this question. It doesn't matter. It takes, like you said, however long you want to take it. You want to take 10 rounds? He's got to stab 10 babies. Okay. 1 baby per round.
Okay, well, that's it for the questions. I mean, there weren't a lot of questions, thank God. But these Q&As for me are so hit and miss. Some of them are just absolutely awesome. Some are a few good questions there, some dumb ones, and then some like this one. Maybe 1 or 2 of these were actually like meaningful questions, and the rest were just game masters. Take more agency of your game.
Yes.
Come up with your own decisions. Remember these 3 words. You need to be fair, reasonable, and consistent. Everything else is just make it right. This guy says, I'm setting up an adventure where an evil wizard is to sacrifice infants to gain PPE. So he's creating the adventure. All right? From there, he should already have a vision in his mind. Maybe roll a timer die. Just roll, 2d6. And that's how many rounds the players have before all the PPE is drained, and how many infants they can save or something. Or just have a number, or just have it play out based on what the players do. I'm not saying that now that this is written down, you shouldn't use it. I guess it's over there. You shouldn't use it. What I'm saying is a question like this, and this is why we say some are stupid, is like, you're the game master. Just be fair, reasonable, and consistent.
Yeah, you can kill 1 baby per round, and you have to kill 5 babies to make the spell work. That's all you got to say.
15 seconds to drain a baby?
Well, no, I mean, the whole process of, doing it, cleaning the blade, reconsecrating it, and then stabbing the next baby.
I would think it would take more than 15 seconds to drain a baby, but I might be wrong.
Well, no, you're not draining it of blood. You're draining it of energy. It's faster.
Yeah, 6 and 1, half dozen.
Okay. Well, we got some starred comments.
Yeah, I started a couple. I don't know if you started any, but I started a couple.
Polyrobot talking to Polyrobotics. Are you looking forward to Spaceballs 2 as well? I don't know.
I started that one because I watched the trailer, and number one, great to see Mel Brooks is still alive. I didn't know. Really? 2, I want to look forward to it, but here's the problem. How many of the best characters in the movie are still alive?
John
John
Candy's
Candy,
gone.
he's gone. Like,
He's gone.
what's her name?
Bill.
Played the voice for Dot. Uh, I forget her name. The
No,
talk show
no,
host.
that's Dolly Parton. She's still
No,
alive.
Joan Rivers.
Oh,
Joan
Joan
Rivers.
Rivers. That's right. Yeah, that was Dolly Parton for a second. I'm sorry.
I don't care
Who
about
was?
Daphne Zuniga. Never did.
No, but she's fine. She's
I
fine.
thought
I
she
mean,
was the worst part of the original movie.
she's not an excellent actress, but she was fine. I mean, she was told to play campy, and it worked.
Dick Van Patten. He's dead.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I don't know, but I do trust. I mean, if Mel Brooks still has his faculties, which in that little kind of mini interview that I saw, he still seems to at 90 something years old. He's one of the best 90-year-olds I've seen. So go him. Good for you, Mel Brooks. Long life to you. And I hope this is a success. But with that said, I'm skeptical. But
yeah. Well, how about this one? Polyrobotics, the child was taught in the first question. I don't know what that's about.
So it didn't say that, though. I think there's an assumption there, because you kind of made that assumption as well, that you'd have to be taught magic. It just didn't say that. Now, Am I going to be so hyper pedantic to be like, what? You should have said, no, I'm not. But for somebody like me who doesn't do riffs or beyond the supernatural, that's why I kept asking Heathen Dog, like, wait a second here, what's up? But it only says, I noticed that children have a natural high level of PPE and are more open to supernatural. My question is, can they also use techno wizard devices? Doesn't say anything about being taught.
No.
With that said, that's a great clarification.
It is. You have to be taught.
Yeah.
You have to be taught to move that PPE or ISP around, or else it's just there. And guess what? That means you're a first level something. Because only wizards are taught how to move their PPE, how to actually use it. And only psychics can use their ISP or even have it. So this child would have to be an OCC already.
Okay.
Having potential and using it are two very different things.
Wait. There was a History of the World Part 2? I never even heard of it. I know, obviously, we know about Part 1. I didn't know there's a History of the World Part 2. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Nathaniel Schultz says, so Kid Borg, we did things like have him have combat protocols to explain his combat abilities like RoboCop. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, you can explain that away as having combat programs installed into his brain, because you can explain a lot of shit away if you're doing a full conversion Borg. You can explain a lot of skills as hardwired skills. But if you want to go that route, you'd have to make rules about hardwired skills, because there are rules in the Palladium Megaverse, in Heroes Unlimited and in Phase World, where hardwired skills are at this percentage and never get higher.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're programs. They don't rewrite themselves. So for example, you would have gymnastics at 80%. But it would never go beyond that. It would always be at 80%. Skill is not a factor. Practice is not a factor. Talent is not a factor. Now, if you did all of that, sure, that would make sense. But you're still screwing up a child's life.
Real quickly to Malachi, I actually was wondering about that Malachi when I watched the trailer. That's interesting. Like, I say, are they going to get Rick Moranis out of retirement? Because he's like, I'm done. I quit this whole Hollywood stuff. Wasn't it because he killed somebody or whatever? I can't remember. Maybe I'm thinking Matthew Broderick. Somebody. Anyway, but yeah, it was for family purposes for him. But yeah, so they got him out of retirement for this. You know what? It's going to be weird seeing him, but cool.
Midrin Philippe. In Ghost in the Shell, Major Motoko Kusanagi had a kid body and then got a new adult body made later. Yes, that is the thing with full conversion Borgs. You can switch bodies. You can. I mean, there's always a chance of death. The surgery could go wrong, but it's doable. You know, in Rifts Japan, they have giant dragon Borgs.
Of course they do.
Of course they do. They have dragonborgs where you're put into a body of a dragon. Okay.
Wait, didn't they do that in that anime? Oh my god, I can't think of their brothers. The one died. He's put in a big orange suit.
Oh, Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. Isn't
Yeah,
that kind of the
that's
same thing?
it was his soul was transplanted into a suit of armor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't a Borg conversion, it was a magical conversion. Omanal says this can get real dark with human sacrifice with the enhanced PPE. Yeah, man. I mean, it's if that's the flavor of your campaign, that the bad guy would sacrifice infants, just stab them, get all stabby on infants, then fine. But that is something that not a lot of people are gonna stand with and go that's okay.
So there's a trick to it, and I do want to say, because I talk a lot about how I run visceral or darker games and so forth. You cannot glorify it, number one, and number two, you can't overdo it. If you overdo it, it just becomes grotesque. It becomes there's a word for that. Where you're doing it for more like the lulls than anything else. You have to do when you do visceral stuff, and this is why I think I'm good at it, is because you have to hint at it more. You have to show it every now and again, and I say show, not tell, if, in terms of how you describe it, and then you don't have to do it again. Going with the anime theme that we've talked about a few times now, Goblin Slayer.
Yeah,
Goblin Slayer's
first
first,
episode.
yep, never
First
needed to see
episode.
it again.
Murdered all kinds of goblin babies.
Well, what did the
But, you know,
goblins do though? The goblins started it by well, here goes demonetization by raping some young girl or whatever.
yeah, that's how they reproduce. They rape other species women, get them pregnant, and it's always a goblin.
Right. You don't have to show that every single
No,
adventure
no.
or in that series every
You
single
show it
episode.
one time so everyone knows it was horrible, it was disgusting. I never want to see that again, but now I know going forward the feel of this entire world.
Exactly.
But doing it every day,
Yeah, gratuitous. That
you're
was
just
the word I was
trying to
thinking of.
desensitize people, and that's
Right.
wrong.
Right. You don't want it to be gratuitous. You want it to be meaningful.
Yeah, and Doc Flamingo says, remember, $2. Thank you, Doc. Sacrifice infants in moderation.
Well, for $2, okay.
Moderation.
Thank you, Doc Flamingo. Cool. All right, we got. Oops, let's put the thingy up here. What are your thoughts? I mean, are you truly interested in giving mom implants to children in your Rifts game? Did you really need to know how a woman gets pregnant in your Palladium fantasy game? Thank you, Kevin, and I mean this, for putting in there that you can't have cross-species pollination. That is something I've always hated. I think Heathen Dog's known me since the late '90s. I know I was harping on it back then. I will harp on it for as long as I live. And I'm glad that Kevin's got those rules in Palladium that say no to that. Especially since I run after the bomb. Just there you go. Let me leave that image for you. So with that, let me know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, and share. And look forward to the third and final video in this series, which will be on. We're going to turn, after all of this, we are going to turn Heathen Dog into a super soldier. So
Woo-hoo!
I hope to see you then. All right. No race mixing. Well, I mean,
Inject me
in
with
the
the super
fantasy,
soldier.
in the fantasy term of race, I agree with you. The thing is that's one of the reasons that people harp on this. You should call them race, should call them species. When I did my video, was it 7 years ago now or whatever it was? Calling it, they should be thought of. I think I say in there, I'd have to watch the videos. Like I said, it's been 7 years. Because I've always done this. That's why I said this. Think of them as species. I don't think I ever said call them species, though. But I said think of them as species. But then, the whole D&D thing, and I'm not saying they got it from me. The whole D&D thing, we're going to call them species now because race is a charged term and blah, blah, blah.
Well,
Races,
it's incorrect compared to, how we talk about race
sure,
in the real
but,
world.
But ultimately, it's been done in the fantasy trope going all the way back. I think even H.G. Wells did it, if I remember correctly. Somebody who's got more literacy than me can let me know about that. But the idea is it's just the term we've all collectively understood. That's what it is. And all of a sudden now it's a problem because of cultural politics. And that's the only reason. I don't have a problem with them. Like Free League does kin. So for Forbidden Lands, they're called kin. That seems weird to me because I don't see that the wolf Wolfen, they're not called Wolfen, the Wolfkin and the goblins, I don't see them as family. And when I think of kin, I think of family, but whatever. If you want to use a different name for it, that's fine. Ancestry, I don't like either because that sounds like, well, my daddy was a
my daddy identified as a dwarf, so I'm a dwarf too.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude, you're a gnome. I am not. Right. I identify as a dwarf. Shut the fuck up.
I think species is the right term to use. I think it's the best term to use, but I also understand why people didn't want the change, and I don't think the change was necessary. But, either way. Whatevs. All right, for our third and final video in this series, we are going to talk about Heroes Unlimited Super Soldier. Now, you're probably saying, wait a second, Max. Heroes Unlimited, you can already make a super soldier under the experiment, or maybe even under the hardware, depending on how you put it together. Well, this one is going to expand upon that and be like, nah. Now, what we're going to make today is a super soldier, not a dude with some guns and some equipment that might have a power. This is going to be a super soldier. So if that's what you want, you've come to the right place, or just go get the Rifter number 22 and, forget the video. That's just mean, but go ahead and do that. And we're going to take a look at that right now. Oh, yeah. All right, Heathen Dog, why didn't I share?
I don't know. Because you're a pro streamer.
Pro streamer.
My dice, I'm ready to go. I'm going to make me like a combination of Captain America and Superman.
Or something else. No, I don't know. To be honest, when I read through this one, I was like, okay, like it. I didn't actually read through the entire process step by step completely. So I did read through it. It does make sense. It does have a lot of optional roles in there. Page 18. That basically take you out of the book. I don't think you're going to need the Heroes Unlimited book. I only asked you to have it just in case you do.
Okay.
So let's start off. Hey, this is Super Soldier. This article is designed to expand the options available for the Heroes Unlimited players who want to play a Super Soldier type of character. I guess like Punisher, would that be? Is he a super soldier?
No, he's a regular dude.
All right, well, you know what? He's an awesome regular dude. Currently, Super Soldier is little more than an add-on to the experiment power category and a relatively underpowered one at that. I thought hardware was also included as Super Soldier.
No. If you want to make a bionic guy, there's the bionic section, and you can make a $6 million man type stuff. Okay. But he's not considered a super soldier.
Gotcha. We're here. The tables provided below provide super soldiers with a wider range and diversity of abilities. Many different approaches could be taken to develop a Superman agent: genetic engineering, cybernetics, intense training, chemicals, drugs. So we're going to start doing juicers and Heroes Unlimited now, and surgery. Get that PCP going. I'll never go down.
Yep.
All could play a part in developing a human fighting machine. The Super Soldier power category now reflects this. Okay, so in addition to new Super Soldier enhancement, tables are provided for alternate educational backgrounds. Oh yeah, it's going to go into things like what if the military sponsoring agency doesn't want to let you go and things like that. So it says all of them are optional. Screw that. Heathen Dog's going to make his character. All right, step one, the usual. You know how to do this. It's the 8 attributes and hit points and so forth. And if you're like, I don't know how to do that, well, I'm sure we got a couple of videos on that in the relevant sections of like Heroes Unlimited. I know I made an After the Bomb character for you. The process is the same. The powers are different. Step 2, education and skills. All right, well, optional. We're going to read the optional stuff here because that's the stuff that's really focused in this book. If the Game Master feels that the organization behind the experiment would only choose one of their own agents and soldiers to become a super soldier, rolling on the standard education tables may not be appropriate. Instead, have the player roll on the table below. Okay, Heathen Dog, you ready to roll?
I'm ready. All right,
go ahead and roll me some percentile dice.
68.
68. You're a pilot. Basic military skill program. Pilot advanced program.
Hal Jordan, baby.
Okay. one
Starting off
communication
right.
skill program, and one skill program of your choice, and only 5 secondary skills. Wow. Is this based on first edition? Because I thought second edition gave you a lot more secondary skills than that. No, second edition was definitely out by then. Anyway, okay. So you're a pilot. All right, aim high.
Yep. Aim high Air Force. Yep.
Step 3, the experiment and powers. Right, in most respects, the super soldier creation process is not unlike that of other superhumans created through experimentation. Most of the information presented here is unlimited regarding the experiment power category applies. As stated on page 118, the player does not roll on tables B or C, as the experiment was in all cases a deliberate attempt to create a superhuman. So you are Captain America.
I am. I was made with purpose.
Rolling
not
on table,
falling into a chemical vat or something. No,
you're not a Ninja Turtle. Got it.
No, not a Ninja Turtle.
Rolling on table A, nature of experiment, that's the word, is appropriate unless all the character's abilities derive from super soldier enhancements alone. That's what we're going to do with Heathen Dog. He's going to have to deal with that. You are a pure super soldier, buddy. Table D, side effects, is appropriate. Oh, so get table D ready. Apparently it's page 118. And list of possible side effects has actually been expanded upon the table below. There's a 25% chance super soldier is an active agent for the organization that created him. Though he may not be aware of the organization's actual intentions or motives. You're going to go save kittens because we are going to take the kittens and skin them for stuffed animals. You don't have to know that second part.
No.
All right. So category number of super soldier abilities table. This replaces table C. All right. Give me percentile roll.
All right. 82.
82. None. No.
No.
5 enhancements. No super abilities. Also gain +1 physical prowess, 1d4 physical strength, and 1d4 speed. A weak form of the physical transformation enhancement. So what are these 5 enhancements? I don't have the Heroes Unlimited book in front of me.
Okay, well, the enhancements are partial invulnerability, mind-body attunement, increased speed, increased strength.
Okay. So they're like minor abilities?
Yeah. They're minor abilities really, but there's a plethora and you get to choose at some point.
If you're wondering why I don't know, it's because I usually play an alien. Okay. So we don't have to go. Okay. Just to list off a couple that people can.
All right. Let's see here. List off a couple. Super soldier section is in the back. Yeah, there it is. Ability table. Attempted to increase physical agility and dexterity. It gives you better PP, better PE and PS. Mind-body attunement, bionic implants, brain boost, physical transformation, which you already have that partial. It said I already have partial that. Bionic weapon system, bionic sensor system, uncanny targeting and throwing. You get to roll. Yeah, there's a roll here or choose. It says roll or choose, but you get how many of these? 5 of these. Normally,
well,
you would get.
Just as an example, those were just examples because you're actually going to roll in this table.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I just wanted for the
main book, you only get 3.
Well, you're going to get 5.
I'm going to get 5.
But I need you to roll 5 times. So go ahead and start the rolling.
92.
Okay, hold on. Let's see what that is. 92. Uncanny sense of balance. Operations to the inner ear result in a superhuman sense of balance. The character automatically gains backflip at 90% skill level, body block, tackle, 1d4 damage, opponent is knocked down, +2 to punch. Roll with punch. Sorry, jeepers. +4 or +20% to maintain balance. Add +10% to climb, walk tightrope, and prowl. Only takes half damage from falls of 30 feet or less.
Like a cat.
You are.
Okay, that's 1.
Yep.
Number 2 is OT6.
Uh-oh. How are the odds? OT4, OT5 to 6. Attempted. Uh-oh, it says attempted. That can't be good. Attempted to increase attempted to increase physical agility and dexterity as described in Heroes Unlimited, page 118. Sir, what happened? It says attempted.
Physical agility. Increase physical prowess to 22. Do not change if it's already higher. And become ambidextrous. +2 on initiative. Automatic dodge. Paired weapons. And add 5% to skills that require manual dexterity and or agility, such as acrobatics, climb, swim, pick locks, computer operation, etc. Well, I don't know about computer operation. It doesn't require dexterity. I would change that to computer repair or whatever, because that does require, little raccoon hands.
All right, roll again.
Roll again. That's us too. This is number 3.
Yep.
46.
You're rolling all over the place. 46. Bionic weapon system as described in Heroes Unlimited, page 118.
Yep. That's a bionic arm with a pop-out gun or a laser beam or a laser finger or laser eyes, whatever.
Okay, roll again.
Ot 1.
Oh, that good or bad? Ot 1. Attempt to decrease physical attractiveness. All right, James Bond.
Right.
And sex appeal. There you go. Super Soldiers enhanced in this.
Look at that. Yeah.
Super soldiers enhanced in this manner were usually designed to function as spies or undercover agents. Well, that explains the cybernetic arm with the pop-out gun.
Yeah. Yep.
Simple cosmetic surgeries combined with more esoteric means to create great beauty and magnetism. Lifelike synthetics replace natural skin and hair, and the character an android, and the character's pheromones are enhanced. Raise physical beauty to 20.
If already 20, add 1d4.
That's 20 is awesome, dude.
I know. If you're already a 20, Jesus Christ, dude.
Increase mental affinity by 2 to 7. Why is that important? Because now people just trust him. That's a trustworthy guy. He's a used car salesman, and you're happy you got screwed.
Yes. He's going to sell you a car and bang your wife in the back.
And you know what? You're okay with that.
You're going to like it.
Wow. Add 5% bonus on all skills that involve deception, persuasion, or seduction. This bonus is doubled against members of the opposite sex, but ineffective against most aliens. What?
Because they're not into humans. Gross.
Full conversion Borgs. I have emotions and feelings as
yeah,
Borg.
But you don't have a penis, so shut up.
Mutated animals.
The one drawback is that the character's pheromones make him easy to recognize or track by scent, and all attempts to do so are at a plus 30%.
Well, when the dog boys come after you.
Yeah, well, yeah, the dog boys were sicked on you by your 18th baby mama who wants child support. Paid the dog boys to find you, serve you with those papers.
This reminds me, I didn't really talk about it, but remember when I did the first video and I talked about a short story in here? Not the Hammer the Forge thing that's been on all of them. That short story is a combination of settings. It's not Nightbane. It's Beyond the Supernatural meets Heroes Unlimited. Okay. So I say that because you could have some bloodhounds from TMNT / After the Bomb. I mean, you have mutations in Heroes Unlimited, right? So this could actually be something that comes back to bite him.
Sure.
But until then, he's going to have a lot of busy nights.
Exactly. Has lots of fun. Lots of fun.
All right.
Okay.
You have one more,
power.
right?
No, that was 3.
Okay.
Yeah. 4th power. 99. God damn. I am extreme today.
Yeah, you are. And you said, okay, uncanny targeting and throwing ability.
Okay, that's lame.
You're Hawkeye.
Yeah, basically you're a Hawkeye, but not as good. You get like a crappy bonus.
Hey, man, you know what? You're undercover. That's
fine.
And your
last one. 8. 0.
I think you already rolled that one.
I think you're right.
Yep. Do it again.
Okay, got to go again. 65.
And this is what happens when you roll 95.
I'm sorry, 55. 55.
55. Combat computer. Sophisticated microcomputer linked to brain nervous system, allowing the character to quickly analyze combat variables and generate tactics. Why could we do this back then? But in the future world, it's you have to be crazy.
Yeah.
The character may choose 3 of the following. You can calculate trajectories. I'm not going to read them all. You can determine weak points. You can track opponents' positions, anticipate opponents' movements. That's +2 to initiative. That's nice. Analyze opponents' responses and breach defenses. Oh.
Characters' attacks have greater chance to penetrating armor. Well, that's pretty cool. Hang on. The increased targeting thing is now something that is interesting. Was it 117? There it is. Uncanny targeting and throwing. Character can throw any weapon or item designed for throwing with astonishing accuracy. Astonishing accuracy is +1 to strike. Shut up. And at twice the normal distance. Additionally, the character can fire a weapon or throw from a moving vehicle or while riding a horse, while hanging upside down, or while leaping or falling without penalty. That's cool. You can also throw 2 items simultaneously at the same target or at 2 different targets and only uses up 1 melee attack. All right, so this plus either the breach defenses or the other one. What was the other one? Track opponent's position with the targeting and accuracy power can really make for some amazing attacks.
Isn't astonishing? Isn't that on the Marvel superheroes chart? Oh, that's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. Yep.
Dang, I was going to say, well, you know what? You could just take that ability. All right, let's move on. Next.
That's all of them.
All right. Success level of the experiment. All right, time to roll to see how successful you are.
01.
01? Really?
No, I'm kidding. I haven't got it yet. 16.
Okay, that's like an 01. Characters only successful super soldier. Other test subjects. Oh, it should be the only. Got it. Characters the only successful super soldier. Other test subjects unharmed but unchanged. Some X factor in the character's makeup caused the success. So you're one of a kind, dude.
Yep. Awesome.
Okay. Organization safeguards. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. They're going to put a bomb in my head. Jesus Christ. 07.
No safeguards taken. They trust you. Oh God.
They trust it. That's dumb. I'm a Don Juan spy, dude. You don't trust me. That's dumb. That's only stupid.
You know what it is? They didn't want to watch.
Or you were so dumb you gave me a female handler and she's not telling you anything anymore.
91 to 100 kill switch.
Yep, I knew it. I knew there was going to be a bomb in my head at some point.
Well, that's but you didn't roll that, so.
No, I didn't roll that. But.
Okay. Effects of damage on cybernetic bionic systems, but you did have one bionic system.
I do have the bionic arm.
Okay.
So that is possible.
Go ahead and roll.
What? There's a roll? Okay.
Yep.
58.
Enhancement offline for 1d6 plus 1 hours. All related abilities unusable during this time.
Okay, so if I get shot in my arm, then my gun won't work for 1d6 plus 1 hours.
Every time you take hit point damage, okay, from electricity, radiation, or explosion. Notice it's bold there, which means not SDC.
Yeah, not SDC, hit point damage. Very important distinction.
Table D side effects, permanent.
Oh crap! This is the one that's gonna suck. How many do I roll? Just one? What does it say?
It looks like one. Yeah. Oh, it's from table D. Whatever you normally do on table D, and I think that's just one.
13.
All right. Breathe without air. Well, there you go. You actually got a good side effect. I don't know how you get your oxygen, but apparently you don't need air to do it.
Page 116. Let's see what it says in here. Here we go. Odd skin color, blah, blah, blah. Increased mass. Breathe without air. The character does not need to breathe air, but still functions normally, even in an airless environment, impervious to gases. On the downside, you have no sense of smell or taste. None.
That's fine. Okay. You know, some of those girls, they put on too much perfume anyway.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, she's a little dirty down there. Like, I couldn't help.
Legion Myth does not. Never mind.
Yes, you do. You endorse all that.
I endorse everything.
Other stuff.
Nope, that's it. So that's really it. Other stuff is just filling out your character, hand-to-hand alignment, SDC, and available resources and so forth. So that's the super soldier. It's not a lot of new stuff, and I think somebody in the
I mean, it gave a little more flavor and a little more stuff, but nothing.
To be fair, you didn't roll the best. You also didn't roll the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, hyper intellect, increase IQ by 1d6 plus 6. That might have been nice.
That would have been cool. It depending on the character you're making, but yeah.
Sure. Radiation resistance.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm just scrolling through. The thing is that there are different options. So here's Psychic Shield. You were designed to be impervious to psychic attack, +8 to save versus psychic. That's pretty awesome. It's a one-trick pony because it's only psychic, but That's a pretty big trick. Now, as a game master, I have to make sure there's psychics in the game so you can feel useful.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go. That's the Super Soldier. It wasn't too in depth, and that's why I picked it. But it was enough just to go through, have some fun rolling the dice. Is that something you think is important? I don't know. Somebody already put in comments that apparently Powers 2. I thought that was the one I hated.
Yeah, that was right here. Powers Unlimited 2 has better selection of enhancements. That is true. That is true. But the Powers Unlimited books also gave us the Gestalt hero, which is dumb.
Yeah. I remember. I think 1 and 3 I liked. 2 I thought was absolutely ridiculous and didn't like. But your mileage may vary on that. Let's stop sharing. What do we got for comments out there?
Well, that was it right here. Polyrobotics says a +8, a non-psychic is half the roll. Yeah, if you're a non-psychic, it's your base save is what, 15? So getting a +8 means you're on average you're going to succeed, because the average roll would be 11 on a d20, and so your average would be 19. So if you're a non-psychic, if you're a psychic, if you're a master psychic, then your save is essentially 2. So as long as you don't roll a 1, you save. So +8 is no joke. You're right.
It's again one trick pony, but that's a pretty good trick. Okay, well, I guess with that then, thank you very much. Oops, let's put this on. Again, what are your thoughts on the Rifter 23 or 22? Sorry, that's 22. Rifter 22. It had useful information here, had some fun stuff, but ultimately, I wouldn't feel like I got my money's worth. I don't think. Maybe the Rifter 23 will be better. As Heathen Dog said earlier, they all can't be winners, right?
Yep.
But all told, I still think that the Rifters are awesome. They're better than Dragon and Dungeon for what I think you get out of them. Not that those are bad. That actually is to tell how good the Rifters are, not to say how bad Dragon and Dungeon were, because they weren't bad. So I look forward to covering the next Rifter next week. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. If I have the time to get to it, I'm going to do the Rifts, either Rifts Adventure Primer or what was the other one?
The Heroes Unlimited.
No, it's the Primer and Adventure Guide. Oh, Primer or Adventure Guide. That's right. Okay. Or I'll just do another Rifter depending on how much writing I do this week, and I look forward to seeing everybody then. Screen. Okay, well, we have a giveaway today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start getting
tomorrow. I might finally get my car back.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I had it. I haven't had a car since Friday before last. I've been riding my bike around everywhere.
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, I took the car in because it was making a grinding noise when I was turning the wheels, and I knew it was going to be one of the control arms. The bearing was going to be out. I knew it, and it was, but it sounded like both bottom control arms in the front were grinding. So I'm like, okay, then just replace all 4, 2 top, 2 bottom. Actually, it's 6 pieces. The bottom front control arms are two different pieces. So 6 items, replace them all. How much is that? He gave me the price for that. Okay, I'll buy the parts, send them to you, and you do it. He goes, okay. He gets the parts, and I told him on the one of the rear control arms, you have to cut a bolt, because the way they built it was stupid. That when they started building shit on the frame, they put in the control arm first and then added other stuff to it that impacts the bolt. So you can't pull the bolt all the way out anymore. It gets stuck. So you have to cut it and put a new bolt in backward. The kit that I bought did not come with spare bolts. So I had to order bolts. Each of these bolts are $10. It's like, fuck. All right, whatever. And Amazon decided that I wasn't going to get them until yesterday.
Oh, dude. So this monitor. So Heathen Dog knows that last week I was kind of pissed because I didn't get the stuff in I was supposed to. I have kind of a new setup. Microphone and audio is still the same, but I have a new camera. I have a 4K monitor, which, by the way, has caused me a whole ton of problems right now because this game is written in some pretty basic code. I can't read your names. It's like so tiny on my screen. Can I show my screen? I think I can. Let me show you what I see here. Entire screen. Yeah, there you go. That's the game. I have to try to read your names on there. But yeah, everything was contingent upon this monitor. No use in having a 4K camera. No use in using the 4K converter. No use to for the video for going to the stream and so forth. No use for any of that stuff without the monitor, right? Monitor just never arrived. No, we're sorry about the delay. Fix it. And then they wanted me to cancel it and pay full price. I was like, no. This is a Prime Day deal thing. Yeah, so I think Amazon had lots of problems because my wife ordered something as well that she didn't get.
Yeah, it was supposed to be next day. I was supposed to get it Friday morning. Yep. But I ordered on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, they're like, oh, no, we had a problem. You're not going to get it until Saturday. Well, the garage is closed on Saturday. It's closed on the weekend. So I got both bolts now. So Monday morning, I'm going to pedal my ass over to the machine shop, or not, but the repair shop, give them the bolts, and hopefully they can finish the car while I wait, because I believe that they replaced everything else already. But they have to do that and then give it an alignment, because if you replace both upper and lower control arms, you just lost your alignment. There's no way to save that. So they got to realign the tires, and then I can drive home.
Okay.
And cool enough, my bike fits in the trunk of my new car. So that's nice. That hasn't happened before.
Yeah. I can't see a thing on here, man. I'm going to have to check to see if there's a setting on there. There's a way I can full screen it, but if I do, it's something about the streaming doesn't work. I mean, I'll try. I had to add one name. Thank you very much. Everybody else is already a member, but thank you very much. Brave the Knight. You got added into the list here for your super chat. And I want to back out for just a second. I can't freaking this stuff. That return to title. There it is.
Poly Robotic says, I ordered books from a small company Saturday and it's still not here. Saturday was yesterday. I don't think they're going to ship on Saturday night, man.
Yeah, I just went to share the screen and it was like, nope.
Can you share the whole monitor?
Yeah, but I don't know if I can bring it back up. I'll try. Hello. It's going to be on that monitor. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, you do see it. Well, we'll see how well this works. I still, as you can tell, this is really tiny, so I still can't see any of this stuff. But slide this, I guess.
Can you control zoom?
Oh.
Like a web page?
Nope.
Oh.
I wonder if there's a way, like in the INI file or something, that I can change it, but I'll worry about that now. Toggle selection. Okay, everybody's selected. Everything should have turned green there. That's not a lot of water. I think we go with it. I just need to make sure that this is 150, so we get through this today. That looks like 150, I think. And no C. Okay, yeah, we're ready to go. All right. For all the people who it's rigged against out there, haha, and everybody else, congratulations. And that's the begin game button. In game. And we start with 56 fighters. Nice. What is that? Go away. And how do I bring up people? That's how I bring up people. Oh, I'm not going to be able to read those death notices.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. This is, you need to change the size of that monitor for this.
Yeah, what I'll do from now on is go away. Is I will I'll just run it off of the other monitor. That's just the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, there's no way to read that. 4K monitor is not made for old eyes.
Well, most things allow you to adjust size. This doesn't. Maybe I just have to find another way. The fun part of this, though, for anybody who's watching for the first time, is like, who cares? It's just fun reading these death notices off.
Yeah. Some of them are pretty funny.
You guys added some really weird stuff, yeah. So the graphics are from the 19. That's true, but I've looked into finding another one where I can actually. So what I need to be able to do is place my members list in some sort of configuration file. This is real simple. If you find any sort of, I've looked into like civilization style games that just take, where one ends up owning the entire planet. I've looked into other Hunger Games style games. Here we go. I've looked into other games. I have, and I continue to do so. But I can't find any that just let me download my members list and put it in there. They're all manually. You got to manually update it. So if you know one out there that allows me to just update that stuff into an INI file, I will beg Asun again to update the program, and we can have something better. But until then, I'll try to run it off my other monitor.
You're right, Walter. We can't read any of it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
This was a lack of foresight on Max's part.
Say lack of foresight. I just didn't even think about the fact that this didn't adjust like everything else I have adjusts.
The tiny size makes it easier to rig. You're absolutely right. And that's why he did it.
I already know who's winning. Actually, who do we have in here?
One, two, three. Looks like 3 or 4 people are left.
Two left.
2 left? Okay.
See, there's a 3D work in this. So who do we have?
There they are.
Except for it's not. Oh no, there's 4.
There's 3 left. There's 3 left. 4, 5. Okay. What? There's a lot of folk left.
A bunch of people left. Yeah.
They're all in the valley. Most of them are in the valley.
Can I follow?
Can't follow a specific person.
Follow random. There we go. Follow random. Could you guys stop fighting on mountains? You do this every week.
Hey, the winner of the arena is methodical
GM.
Methododical. Because I read good.
Let me tell you a little thing. That's big, by the way.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
Methodical. Hey, son took second place because I forgot to take him out. Rigged. So Methodical GM, I haven't seen him around recently, but he's actually one of the Rumble people. He's been a member on Rumble for a long time. Last year, he donated, I think he twice popped in $500.
Nice.
So thank you, Methodical GM, for that. I don't forget things like that. Is he on
Rumble now?
We'll find out. I hope, because we're still streaming to Rumble. So Methodical GM, I haven't seen him in a long time, to be honest with you.
No.
He's usually around on the Friday streams, not on the Sunday streams. So
he's missing out around $75 in books, man.
Yep. So we'll see. He's got and I will make sure, because I haven't seen Rumble chat move in a long time. So oops, that full screen thing borks everything up. Hold on. Let me do this first. Press Control to save log. Nope, can't even save the log.
Did it lock?
Yep.
Can you take a screenshot?
Well, it's not for this. It's for the rest. Sometimes, I haven't had it recently, but sometimes people I want to know how I died. Oh. Or I've had one person ask, can you verify who's actually in the list? I don't really do that anymore. I don't care that much, but there, I just Alt F4 out. Sorry, that list isn't going to be saved. We'll have that fixed for next time. But let me make sure he's not over here on the Rumble side sending a message, because the Rumble chat just abruptly stopped a long time ago. So let me test. Okay, well, testing is working there. So, all right, well, we'll give him just enough time for you to walk us out of this live stream to give me his contact info. And everything's going crazy on my computer right now. Get over here. Boom.
Okay.
So, awesome. Good stream. Good stream. I think we learned a lot about the cleric today. Yeah. A lot about the druid. Even some about the specialty priest. Tapped into some other books. Rifter 22 was painful, but we got through. And I look forward to hopefully whatever I do next week, whether it's Rifter 23 or it's something else.
Yeah, see, I don't... Cybernetics for children should just say no. The reason being is because a child's body is changing every day. And especially implants in the brain, these need to be precise. And every day, all the dimensions are changing a little bit every day. So after a couple of weeks, it just won't work. And I know you like Max like the idea of an adult having a T-Rex bionic arm.
As a joke.
But in actuality, it would just fall off after a while. It would just lose all of its
the way
anchor
the
points.
skin would graft to it would be like so weird looking.
Yeah, but it would destroy the flesh body parts around it. Right? It would just be a freaking disaster. So no, children could never have bionics or brain implants. Could not. Because after a couple weeks, they would just not work. They wouldn't work. Or rip at their bones or brain, which is worse. Now, juicer conversion, technically, yeah. Because it's just drugs. So that would work.
Yeah, but if that wasn't an abducted child, you're a bad parent.
Yeah, tell me you're an orphan without telling me you're an orphan.
Yeah.
I'm a 10-year-old juicer. That's what you did. Yeah. Because no parent, even a bad parent, wouldn't allow that crap. Would not. So yeah, in your game, just for kids, just say no to drugs and bionics. And it's fine. You're fine. And that's it.